I'll have you know I am not bald. No, definitely not bald. Very much so not bald. Welcome in, Raiders. Welcome in. I don't know if the music's going to kick on again. We're going to find out. Even if it does, I think I'm going to cancel the music. Because, yeah, no, I don't think it's going to start up again. Welcome in. Welcome in. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, and, excuse me, welcome. Rip music. Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. I'm not sorry about it. It was going to end here shortly anyway, so you're fine. We had two lovely raids coming in here. I hope you guys are all set and ready. We have our guest on the line. We are ready to go. It is that time again. It is a weekend. Look over at the wrong time. Oh, it's all right. It's all right. But yes, it is that time again. It is time for another exciting adventures in Talk Tuesday. We have an absolute fantastic, phenomenal special guest lined up for you guys tonight. Are you ready for tonight's special guest? Because let me tell you what, tonight's special guest can give you a solid lesson on being chill under pressure. A variety streamer and an expert in dealing with intense situations. This streamer can show you how staying calm can still get the job done in any situation, come hell or high water. From his quick decisions, he will make his point well known in Mass Effects, and you can see his fast decision making when he's hugging turns in Forza. This veteran gamer does some pretty intense long duration streams, marking him as no stranger in going the distance. Swing on by and check out the streamer, and you will see why his community goes the distance with him and his on point commentary, an easy to talk to vibe. Tonight's guest will make you feel like you're part of the family from the first time you drop by. So without any further bantering and teasing, I present to you tonight's RPG gamer who is always ahead of the turn. That's right, Mr. Dewey Blue Eyes. I hope he's ready. Hi, Dewey. Welcome to Talk Tuesday.
Hello, Nori, and lovely chat.
We got rated twice. Hey, All Out. Welcome in. Welcome in. First time chat for All Out.
I love that. Love it when the homies all come together.
Right? Always fantastic. Always fantastic when we get everybody in here. Now, as we do every time we do a Talk Tuesday, we'll go down the turts and All Outs. Hello, friends, right? So, rules of the road, as everybody should well know the rules of the road by now. And if not, well, you're going to learn them anyways. So there is a channel point redeemed down in the corner. It's 1 point. Anybody who shows up here has at least 10 to start with. You can ask whatever questions your heart desires on here within reason. I will police the questions. I will ask you the questions, Dewey. You will respond to them as is appropriate. If you feel like we're asking you something that you're not okay with answering, feel free to say no. We'll skip the question. We'll move right on. No questions asked. We won't even give you a hard time about it. Occasionally, we do get some of these questions that come through here. Like, Zoda is really infamous about trying to get credit card numbers. Again, Zoda, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all you get for the last 4 digits. I'm sorry. You'll have to figure out the rest of them.
Might have to let Zoda down. I don't even have a credit card.
Oh, that's... See, exactly. There you go. Already on point. But beyond that, it's you, me, 3 hours, and a puzzle as we get everybody to get to know a little bit better of you, my friend. So, without any further bantering from me, as soon as I can find the right buttons to push, there's always like a dozen buttons to push. Let's get Talk Tuesday started. There we go.
Sounds good.
Caddy, I don't know why you are always trying to steal my questions. You do that every week now. Like I have like documented, dedicated. These are my questions. Caddy's been like seriously trying to swipe them from me now for the last couple of Talk Tuesdays.
Well, at least Caddy's a dedicated return viewer.
It's fine. It's fine. Well, we'll start with Caddy's question, and generally my one of my first two questions that we normally ask around here, which is yes, in this case, Caddy has done it differently. We're going to combine Caddy's question and mine because usually we asked two questions. The first one in this case for you is going to be what got you started in streaming? Like, what was the thing that made you push the start button? Caddy would like to know who got you motivated to start streaming, so you can answer both of them at the same time because I figured they're two relatively close to each other, anyways.
So. Fair. Okay. So I got started streaming mostly because I needed a hobby that was a little more cost effective. I am a avid golfer, and it really picked up during the pandemic because everybody was slashing prices to get people on the course. And it was amazing.
I can imagine.
Yeah, like so I've moved since then, but at the local municipal that I used to play at, it was like $20 with cart during the pandemic, and it was like 10 if you just wanted to carry your bag. So I was out there several times a week. I was just like, this is what heaven must be like.
That's fantastic. I would imagine, yes, streaming would probably be a bit cheaper on the wallet than golfing would be.
Yep, it's about the same initial start cost though, PC, bag of golf clubs, about $2,000 a piece if you want to go with something decent out the gate.
Right.
But yeah. As to who motivated me to start streaming, that actually goes to two people. One is my loving partner, Belle, and the other one is a good friend and also fellow streamer, Kubaru.
Nice. I always love it when streamer buddies bring in more of their friends. It helps to grow things better, but it also helps making it easier for like new streamers coming in because at that point you at least know somebody, and so it gives you a nice jumping off point.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't initially set out to start streaming. I have been on Twitch for, what is it, September now?
Yes.
Exactly 12 months have I been on the Twitch sphere.
No,
I never had
nice.
I never had a Twitch account before. But my friend Koob was like, "Hey, I've been on hiatus for a few years because of school and all that stuff, but I'm planning on getting back into streaming. Here's my link if you guys want to check me out into, just our friends group Discord that we were all in."
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, "Sure, you know what? I'm a little bored. It always pays to watch my friends do their thing."
Yeah.
And
helps to support, right?
yeah, I was like, I'll just put them in the background while I'm reading a book, and then it turned into, well, I'll just put them in the background while I'm playing, Halo with my friends. And then it just turned into, I'm literally dedicated watching this man, and he has moderated me. I was like, I've been here for 2 months, and I'm a mod. I don't know anything about this website. Okay.
Yeah. That's always fun. Like, here, have a hammer.
It really.
Go smash.
It was like, hey, you're in charge if people in my chat decide to be rude to me. And I was like, okay, I need a rundown. What do you identify as being rude to you?
Yeah, that's always a really good first question to ask. I think is exactly what is the qualifications for rudeness.
100% yes.
Well, I mean everybody views that lens a little differently because it's all determined by what somebody's comfort levels are too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this This picture, once we start getting some more of it finished up, is going to really be well. We'll see who's got the ages in here.
Oh, nice. That one just clicked.
Yeah. Oh, they're fun like that because if you get them right, they'll actually just snap right into place on the page, and that's how you get points. So if you're trying to beat people in points, that's how you do it. Of course, you can always just wait till somebody puts a bunch of them together and then snap the whole lot of it into place, and then you get all the points for those.
Ooh, that feels like a crime.
But I didn't tell you that. I would get in trouble for some of our regulars that have been like, "How is it that Nori gets so many points?"
Now you know he cheats. It's okay.
No, nobody's making any puzzle piece piles. Were we supposed to be making puzzle piece piles? They get really into their puzzle. That's fine. But that's that's exciting at least. So no like real regrets about jumping in and moderating for your friend initially then.
No, it really, honestly, with the other mods in his channel and in other channels that started to recognize me from his channel, I could just be like, hey, what the hell does this mean? And they'll be like, oh, yeah, so there's this weird thing that Twitch does. And I was like, just one? And they're like, yeah, no, not just one.
No,
sorry.
not just one. Sorry.
And so, yeah, it really helped me learn quickly when everyone else would just be like, oh, yeah, no worries. We know you're new,
Mm-hmm.
So I really hit the ground running, I guess, is the phrase. Learned on the fly.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with learning. Well, okay, so when I started, there was nobody to teach me anything, so I definitely had to learn on the run. But it's always nice when you can get extra help like that, where people are like, "Oh yeah, so here's the things that you need to do."
Yeah. Our mutual friend, Amnam Zambabe, actually has really gone out of her way to be just like, oh no, these are how like interactive bots work, and this is how like third-party programs can work in your stream, and it's really just been an all-around delight helping out with some of that stuff.
Oh, needs a lovely character. We had her in here, and then I want to say she shoved you into the hot seat.
Yes, but having grown up in a very disciplined family, I've always just been told to take the opportunity presented to you if it's not detrimental in any way to your person.
Right. There's nothing wrong with that. But
yeah,
but yeah, I definitely feel like Neen just kind of shoved you into that. Like, here, you need to go do this.
And
Neen sometimes reminds me of like that mother bird, like should just throw people out of the nest, like go fly.
I think every friend group needs one of those to just hold people accountable to their potential.
There's nothing wrong with that. Speaking of Neen, how did you meet Neen?
Oh man, I don't even specifically know. Just because there ended up being a lot of overlap in our friend groups before I even met her. I do want to give credit to Oasis Co. though. I think it was in her stream that I first talked to Neen, just like, hey, welcome on in, just because I knew Oasis, I didn't know who Neen was, and I was just being polite, welcoming people who were entering the chat because I had nothing better to do at the time, so I was just being a good chatter.
Yep.
And then about halfway through, she goes, Lurk, gotta get things ready for myself, as friends do. And then we raided into her stream and, hung out, made friends, and it just kind of all went
Just
from
kind of
there.
went from there. Well, sometimes that's all it takes, right? Is you crash into each other in a stream.
100%.
So it's all good. I'm always kind of curious as to where those lines of interactions occur at, because I look at Twitch as being this giant spider web of networking opportunities.
Oh yeah. Kind of wish I knew the other social medias a little bit better so I could spider web there as well, but I'm chronically online, but not on the web.
I think we're all chronically online. I mean, the cell phones kind of keep you connected all the time.
Oh yeah, I specifically have almost nothing on my cell phone. I have my texting app. I think I have Instagram specifically for like posting things for Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
And then your standard call, text, Instagram, and I think Snapchat, because I have some old friends who still exclusively talk through Snapchat.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, hey, bro, just give me your numbers so I can text you. And they're like, no, I don't feel comfortable doing that. I'm like, dude, we've known each other since high school. Come on now.
Yeah, we've been around the block a few times now. I'm certain you can trust me with your cell phone.
That's the thing. It's like, dude, I was in your wedding party. I think you can trust me with your phone number.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I just don't think they want to let it die because it's something that reminds them of the good old days.
Okay, that would be like somebody trying to hold on to like AIM, AOL Instant Messenger, or ICQ.
Yep. My mother did that until they closed it.
You gotta let it go. You gotta let it go. Technology just gets old and goes away. I mean, it's just the way it is. Thank you for the alert, Meeps. Most used app calculator. Okay, Zoda. For my college, for my associate's degree, we had to write a program as part of our exit for college. I wrote an Android app, stuck it up on the Android App Store for free. It's a calculator. It looks like a perfectly normal calculator. It always gives you the right answer, but no matter what button you push on the face, it puts the wrong digits on the screen. So you could push 1 plus 2, and you would get like 9 times 7, and it would come back and tell you 3. But not before it showed you the wrong equation up on the screen.
We got a Saturday morning villain out here.
Well, so the Saturday morning villain is when you hit the C button to try and clear the chat. There was literally, I think, like 150 random messages it would respond back with, like, I'm not doing that because you don't know how to use a calculator, to things like, no, I refuse to perform that function. Like, it was it was just a mean app.
It sounds like it, yeah.
I think it had like 10 downloads last time I looked at it. Like, nobody touches it. I put it on my phone, and a coworker of mine several years later was like, I need a calculator. I'm like, here you go, and handed him that calculator to use. He was like, I'm about ready to throw your phone out the nearest window.
Yeah, I mean, I would have been right there with him after the first 2 or 3. I would have been like, no, I can't get this. Take it. I don't want to buy you a new one.
Oh, it was a good time. It's good for a laugh.
I can see that. I don't have to like it, but I can see it.
You know, everybody does their own shtick, right?
Yep.
It's fine. It's like when I was going for my bachelor's degree, we programmed a little robot that we put a piezo speaker on it, and wired that speaker to make the same sound as the doorbell to the front desk lady. Drove it under her desk, and all that was hooked up to the school's Wi-Fi with the camera. And so every time she would get up and walk away from her desk for more than 5 minutes, we would hit the speaker to ring the doorbell. So she had to run back to her desk, and there'd be nobody in the office. Just like, you left the desk. Ding. I know about it.
It really does feel like that, though, in the corporate world. It's like, all right, nobody's bothered talking to me for the last 45 minutes. I'm going to go take a bathroom break. And as soon as I put the headset down, I get a phone call. It's like, come on.
Yeah. Really? Now you want my attention.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times I think software developers left alone too long become supervillains. We just plan to do nasty things sometimes.
I definitely believe that.
But yeah, it's fine. It's fine. You always have a good time. Accurate. So your name, Dewey Blue Eye, where'd you come up with that name from?
So that is actually a combination of things from my childhood. So I have 3 brothers.
Mm-hmm.
So did Donald Duck have nephews? And
yes, Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
Yep. And my father and his 3 brothers and my grandfather and his 3 brothers all had the same series of nicknames. Apparently it was so popular that even my partner Belle's own father had the same nickname of Dewey from their parents, because they also had 3 boys in their family. So when he saw my gamer tag for the first time, he was like, "Oh, did you do that for me?" And I was like, "No." It's actually been my nickname since before I even knew your child existed. And he was a little, deflated with that, but he was like, "Oh, okay. But that's still
Right.
cool that we had the same nickname." I was like,
Yeah.
"Yes." And then the blue eye thing is just because I remember growing up, that was like the one thing people would say whenever they met me was, "Oh wow, you have really blue eyes." So for a few years before the cartoon even came out, people would just call me Bluey, because blue eye just becomes Bluey.
Yep.
And I was just like, we're just rolling with it. It's one of the few non-offensive nicknames I've had, so I'll just take it.
I love how that works out.
I know.
Yeah, Squirrel was curious because Swift Squirrel was guessing from your name and your icon that you're a Yu-Gi-Oh fan. Do you like the game, the show, or both?
So Yu-Gi-Oh was kind of one of the few things that my very religious parents actually let me do growing up. Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, they were like, well, it's childish enough that, you're not really gonna get the video games make kids violent thing off of this. And so they were like, fine, you guys can play those games. So we played the ever loving crap out of them. I was just like, I'm going all in. I had decks of both. I used to know the rules. I have Pokemon wise, I used to own all of the Game Boys and the cartridges. I had all of the original cartridges except for the Japanese release only green for a while. I had the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth generation of games and the corresponding handheld consoles to go with them before I was like, dang, college is expensive. I can't be buying this stuff.
College, no joke.
It really wasn't. I was like, okay, I have to stop collecting. And then everyone around me was like, "Oh, do you just not like it anymore?" And I was like, "No, I do. It's just too
Do I just
expensive."
yeah. Yeah, I went in the whole good lord. More money than I care to count for my bachelor's degree.
Yeah, I never finished.
Oh, my favorite
I
are always people are like, "Aren't you going to go in and get your master's degree?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me?
in this
I
economy,
gotta pay for that."
I know. I know my family will still be like, "Hey, it's not too late. You can go back and continue." And I was like, "You footing the bill?" And they're just like, "Oh, well, no, but like for career advancement opportunities." I'm like, "Yeah, it would be nice, but I'm not paying for it."
Yeah, no, absolutely. uh, let's see. Zoda would like to know, what is your favorite ice cream flavor? Heads up, this is a trick question. There is a right answer according to Zoda.
That's fine. Zoda can be wrong. Um, I I've never really had a consistent favorite ice cream. It seems to just every few years it switches to something else,
Mhm.
which is inherently, healthy for personal growth, but um I lately have been on the I want to Google it here real quick so I have the correct name of it.
Yeah.
Because it's like one of those personal pint ones. It's the Haagen-Dazs caramel cone pint.
Okay.
I was on a Ben and Jerry's Cherries Garcia for a long time, mint chip for a long time, Neapolitan for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But it just switches as my feelings towards sweets evolves, and sometimes I want more, sometimes I want less.
That's fair. Yeah, no, I have been a staunch Moose Track lover for years now.
See, I'm not a big fan of nuts or peanut butter or peanut flavoring.
That's fair. Um, I like the Moose Tracks just because the only peanut butter flavor at all are the peanut butter cups, and you can pick those out and throw those to the side. The rest of it's just vanilla and fudge. But I like the fudge stripe that's in the Moose Tracks better than I do any other of the fudge stripes that I've had, because most fudge stripes tends to be sweet fudge, and theirs is a very bitter.
Yes. Yes. Dark chocolate fudge. We love that.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So cookies, mint chip. By the way, they though you may have converted Zoda, because I don't see him screaming up and down about, no, you're wrong. It's mint chip. So you
I
might have got.
enjoy a mint chip more than most people that I know that eat ice cream. So Zoda, I feel you. I really do. When we go out, it's like, "Hey, what do you want?" I was like, "I would love like a scoop of mint chip." And they just all look at me like, "Why do you want to brush your teeth?"
You're not brushing your teeth with mint chip. Mint chip's not.
I know. They just think mint chip tastes too much like toothpaste for it to be enjoyable. And I'm just like, "Nah, you guys just have bad taste. That's okay."
It's fine. It's fine.
Oop.
You always tell the mint chip lovers in chat, because they're like, "What? Toothpaste? How dare?"
Yeah, I mean, I've heard it all before, and I'm just like, you know what? You guys can enjoy your flavors. Just don't hate on mine. It's okay.
We have a standard rule, and that's not to yuck anybody's yum, as words according to a one Swift squirrel, uh, which we love it. It's a
No,
good saying.
I'll yuck somebody's yum, especially if I have like, oh God, I can't eat cilantro because I have the soap gene.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
So whenever someone's like, oh, we should go get Mexican food. I'm like, that's the last thing because I'm gonna have to tiptoe like Mission Impossible around their menu to get something that I can actually eat.
Yeah. Now, see, I have sympathy for people who got stuck with the soap gene. Like, I eat cilantro like it's going out of style, but I don't have
I
the soap
wish
gene.
I wish I could. My friends kind of made like a poor man's cilantro with like radishes and a bunch of other herby sort of things to try to like be like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
this is what cilantro actually tastes like. And I was just like, that's too much work. I'm not gonna do that. It took them like 45 minutes to get everything together, and I was just like,
Oof.
yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah. No. No. If you can't eat cilantro, you just can't eat cilantro. Like, let's just
Yeah,
don't
exactly.
suffer. Let's just move on with life. Let's not spend 45 minutes trying to recreate something.
I know.
Like,
I was like, you guys don't need to put this much effort in. They're like, no, we want to at least make sure it tastes like it so you can say you've experienced it. And I was just like, all right, you guys.
that's nuts.
Yeah, they're friends. They want you to enjoy the things that they like.
Well, yes. I mean, that's pretty typical for most friends, though. Like, you want to have commonality with people you claim to be friends with. It's good. It makes you feel like you belong. It's perfectly normal and natural. I'm not saying there's anything against that. I just, like, at some point you're like, okay, time out. It's really okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and even though when you do that, they'll still be like, no, we're gonna keep doing this because we've already started. We've dedicated it. It's happening. This is what we're doing today. And I was like, okay, guys.
This is what's on the menu. You know, that's fair. That is fair. That can totally be a thing. Oh, I'm starting to see shapes. I'm like, oh, I remember that, and ooh, I remember that, and
Yeah, I'm still not getting nothing. I don't have a brain for filling an empty space most of the time.
I eat just fine. I'm waiting. Rose has been over here collecting this just big collection of pieces. I'm like, that's
I know
almost ready
I've been
to
throwing
eyeball
pieces
it.
at her. I'm like, "Oh, you know what you're doing with all these pieces that look exactly the same. I'll just keep giving them to you. Don't worry about it."
It's right there. We can just,
I know it's gonna go right here in this area, and that's okay. I've been trying to tackle this corner here with these green colors, but
uh, oh, I'm slightly colorblind, so I just kind
same.
of
I am
slang
red
the
orange
pieces around.
colorblind.
There you go. She gave up. She's like, no, no, Nori's itching around it. He's coming for it. It's fine. The whole point is to have a good time at the end of the day, right? But that's interesting. So
we try
you
for.
weren't a big Yu-Gi-Oh fan then?
I
I
tried
mean,
to
you
be.
you tried to be, yes.
I really tried to be, but then they started making like all these rule changes and adding in new generations of cards and monsters that are the same monster, but now because they're like a GX or a synchro, they have different requirements and different properties, and I'm just like, I have to study for chemistry. I can't I can't pay attention to this.
See, and I was in the same boat when it came to Magic the Gathering. Like, I started with Magic a long time ago, and then it was like, holy crap, that's like the cost of trying to keep up with that game was ridiculous. I'm like,
Yes.
I can't keep up with it.
Yes, I tried to get into Magic in college because a bunch of my friends were like, "Hey, we have over like 8,000 cards. Do you want to just build a deck and play with us?" And I was like, Sure. New friends, new hobby. Let's try it. And yeah, they put me in my place real quick, and then they were just like, "Okay, we're gonna have to teach you how to play this game." And I was like, we don't have to."
We can just pretend we did and move on, right?
Exactly. I was like, I don't need to know how to play this game. And they're like, "Oh, come on." I was like, "Okay,
uh,
fine."
All Out, don't feel bad. I couldn't keep up with it after that myself. I remember when those cards started dropping. I'm like, what is? No, I'm out. It's too
Hmm.
much for my little brain.
Yeah, it gets to that point where you're like, maybe I'm old now. And you know what? I'm okay with that.
There's nothing wrong with being old. I'm not decrepit.
Exactly.
I got a little age on me. It's fine.
True. Decrepit is quite the description, but a lot of the internet seems to be like, "Oh, you're over 21? Dirt. You must have met the dinosaurs." I'm just like, I- I'm just like, you know what? You guys can enjoy your meme because I don't have the energy to play along.
Go for it. Rock on. If that's your stick, help yourself do it. Just fine.
Oh, I know.
Um,
I was in a friend's stream and we were playing Helldivers together, and one of their other friends who was in our party shot one of the hell bombs that were just chilling on the map because they didn't
mhm.
properly blow up or whatever, and it launched me like a couple hundred yards away. And I was
Yeah.
like, groovy, that's gonna be fun to run all the way back for. And everyone's like, what the heck is groovy? You're such a boomer. And I was just like,
Uh,
you guys are just laying it on thick, but you know what? You're having a
that's a
good
little.
time.
Well, as long as they're having a good time. But I'm sorry, boomer. No.
Oh, I know. There's not too many of those left anyway, but
Yeah. Like, please leave my parents' generation out of this. Do not lump me in with them. Thank you.
yeah, I think those are my grandparents or great grandparents, depending on who you believe on where that line falls.
Yeah.
Uh,
Somewhere in that neck of the woods. Yes.
yeah. So I'm just like, I'm not a boomer, but it'll help you guys sleep at night to call me a boomer, so it's okay.
I have never understood that fascination. I am from Generation X. We were very proud of being Generation X.
I was almost Generation X. Or, sorry, I was almost Generation Z. I'm still a millennial.
Yeah, I'm generation. I'm well. So I'm on the last edge of Generation X. So like right after me is are the
Millennial. Yeah.
millennials.
Okay.
So so I'm Generation X, and I have two millennial brothers. I give them a hard time all the time. Like, aha, I'm the cool generation. You.
Yeah. I'm my older sister and myself are millennial, and then my younger siblings are all Gen Z. And as soon as they discovered that, they were like, "Oh God, no!" I was like, "Yeah, you guys are the problem generation," and they're like, "No, we're not a problem."
It's fine. It's fine.
It is fun.
I don't spend too much time worrying about generational lines because I just people are people. At the end of the day, we're all people just trying to get by with our days, and it's a good time.
Oh
And as
yeah.
long as you're laughing, that's to me that's the big stick, right? If you're laughing, we're doing something right. If you're not laughing, then you know
Fair, yeah.
what do we got to do? What's going on? Like, how can we fix this problem? Because life's too short not to laugh.
Eh, I suppose. I don't know. I just grew up in a very serious family, so I've never been much of a laugher, but like I've been opening up the more I get used to the way things are on Twitch and
Right.
how it's just genuine genuinely accepted to be happy
Hmm.
and like not be serious about things and just loosen up, and it's okay to joke around,
Yeah.
even if you're not in the privacy of your own home, and just let your hair down. And that's just something I grew up with, that it was like, no, you don't do that unless, you know, you're around the people you trust the most. So,
I get that. Growing up in my family, both my father and mother were very religious, so I grew up in a very religious household, and everybody was serious all the time. Um,
mhm.
I left. I ran as soon as I could get away. I was gone.
Fair. Yeah.
And so my take on life has always been, I have lived the serious. I want to have fun. So I'm going to
My
laugh.
my lovely partner Belle has been trying to convert me to the world of fun. It's still very hard for me because I basically lived that lifestyle for like 25 years of my life.
Hmm.
So it's been a lot of cognitive dissonance just trying to learn what the word relax means.
Right. I get that. It's it's okay to laugh and have a good time.
We're getting there. I'm not going to say yes yet, but we're getting there.
Fair. Fair. There's nothing wrong with that. Green Emerald Dragon would like to know, if you were isekai'd and allowed to have 5 skills or powers, what would it be? And
Um,
if you don't know what isekai is, I
I
have
kn I
gotten.
know what isekai is. It's my favorite genre of anime.
Yes.
Specifically the ones where the hero is ridiculously overpowered, but also a dumbass and has
Okay.
no idea what is going on around him. And it's just like, just point and shoot me. I guess I'll take care of the bad guy. And then it's just the ones that are like very wholesome, very lighthearted. You know it's going to have a happy ending. You don't really have to worry about any anxiety-inducing plot twists.
Right.
Just a very feel-good story for the sake of feeling good.
Yes.
But it really depends on the universe that I would get isekai'd into, because some have magic, some have skills, some are strictly just like who you know and like what family you were born into. But
Hmm.
I can't really say five unless I'm given like a world setting. It's
Well,
it's too, it's too hard.
pick a
It's like,
favorite world setting of yours. How about that?
oh man, that
Grab
hold
your favorite
on.
world setting and go with that one.
Let me open my anime list here real quick.
I love the
It's
fact
like
that you're like, hang on a second, I gotta go look up my anime list. Hang tight once.
I do. So
Spoken
I
like a
have
true anime fanatic. Hang on a second. Have you been watching Osan yet?
uh full title.
Now I've got to go pull up my.
Is it the really long one? The OG-san has been training and become super powered kind of one?
Yes.
Yes. The
Yeah.
one where the main
The
character was
30-year
like
old.
a pencil pusher and then became an adventurer. Yeah, I just finished
Yes.
that one up this weekend when its latest episode came out.
Right.
It was very good.
I enjoyed it. Yes, that was a very good one.
Let's see here. Um, so for the one that has had me fish hooked has been Tsukimichi Moonlit Fantasy.
Oh,
Um,
that's such a good one too.
I had to wait like 2 years for the second season to come out for when I first found that once, or well, like 4 years actually. So I was like, dang, I really hope they come out with a new one, and they did.
Yes.
Uh, Another one is Campfire Cooking in Another World with My Absurd Skills.
Oh, that was
That would be
also a good
fun.
one.
Um, I'm a spider, so what? And Re-Monster are basically the same premises, but just with a different monster starter.
Right.
I very much enjoy those. The adaptability powers are definitely on that top 5 list. Ability
Nice.
to just adapt to anything that you eat, you gain their abilities. That's huge.
Yeah, that seems like a really starter overpowered
Oh yeah,
ability to get
totally
hit with.
broken. And then another one that I've been watching is Failure Frame. Became the strongest and annihilated everything with low-level spells. That one's been very good so far.
I've been enjoying that one. I'm interested to see how they resolve the current conflict with him going against all those in the Golden Land.
They
Where they
kinda
left it off at, they didn't really resolve, because I'm more interested in what's going to happen after that. Let's be fair. Yes, they resolved it in the fact that he's basically paralyzing and slow killing the entirety of the forest. Yes.
Berserk has been coming in very clutch for him though. Is he'll just like paralyze and
Yes.
berserk and then sleep and poison so he can still free up his stuff.
Yes. Berserk helps out an awful lot, but I'm more talking about, the Eva has just run into the other heroes
Okay.
at the end of the latest episode they just dropped. If you haven't watched
Yep.
it, I'm not going to tell you
Eva
anything more.
was
Yeah.
being attacked, yeah. And then they just kind of cut the episode and you're just like, "Oh, well."
Yeah, that's the resolution I'm looking for, because does she run away and does he come in to save, or does she get killed?
And then he kills them in retaliation. That would be
Yes.
what I would like to see.
So there's a couple ways they could resolve that, and I'm interested to see how they go about the resolution for that one, because that's going to be a thing.
True. Yes. Let me see what this one is. Oh, that's not that one.
Let's see. Hello, Shale. Hello, Mercaptain. Manga and anime, swords and magic. Oh yes, swords and magic. Wands and swords.
Wands and Swords. I
It's
assume
another
that's
one
an
that's
anime
been.
that I have not watched.
Oh, okay, yeah, you'll want to watch that one. That's not bad either.
Hold on. Wands and Swords. If it's not on Crunchyroll, I probably haven't seen it.
Is on Crunchyroll.
I literally just Googled it and they did not give it to, or I search engined it and they did not give it to me.
I just finished watching.
Oh,
the
Wistoria.
Okay. Yeah, Wistoria, Wands and Swords. I'm sorry, I knew there was another word. I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to go look this one up. Yes, Wistoria.
This is the one where like everyone uses magic, but he uses a sword, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that was giving me too much of Mashal versus Magic vibes, and I just said I'm not watching that.
You'd be very much surprised. That is not the way that runs.
Then I will add it to my watch list. Simple as that.
Yeah, it's not even remotely along the same line as Masha. I didn't mind that one. Right, that was okay. It was a good gimmicky, laughy sort of thing. Right.
Is it similar to Reign of Seven Spellblades?
Not really.
Okay.
Like you could draw some parallels in there, but not really.
Because I got through about half of Reign of Seven Spellblades before I was like, okay, this needs to pick up. I'm gonna drop it unless there's a second season coming out because doing too much world building, not enough storytelling.
Yeah, the world building for this one's pretty much done inside the first episode. It's a lot of it's just character progression until you get to I think they just dropped episode 11. So there's
Okay.
11 or 12 that just dropped. But yeah, there's most of this is actually around the main hero as you go through. And so the world building is kind of done already for you. Like they're not going to teach you anything more about it. It's really based around him.
Yeah, Sunday dropped episode 11. Look at that.
Yep. It just recently came out. I know. I've been on top of that one.
Yeah, I'm excited for next week and the week after, because that's when the new season is going to start releasing their episode pilots.
Yes. It'll be a good time. Somehow we've turned into an advertisement for Crunchyroll. If you don't have it,
I mean, wasn't like everybody with over like 100 followers on Twitch like getting additional ad revenue for Crunchyroll while they were pushing their thing for a minute there with Kaiju number 8?
I have no idea. I wasn't involved in that.
So which, by the way, Kaiju number 8 is a great anime. I fully recommend watching that.
That was a fantastic one. I enjoyed that one. I want to see a second season from that.
Oh, so badly, yes. The way that cliffhangered, I was just like,
they left it in such a bad state on that one.
I know, but the manga's still going, and at least they're not making a fucking side arc out the wazoo that has no relevance to the actual story. So,
yeah. But I mean, it's yes.
That's the biggest thing I gotta say with modern anime is I'm glad that they're just stopping the season because they're like, oh, the people who like this will come back. We don't have to make up a fake story.
Now, there was a couple of animes that Netflix took over. Netflix did that I thought were good until they released their second season, and they just butchered the second season because they kind of like half-assed it. 7 Deadly Sins.
Yep.
Like the first season, loved it. Second season came out, which had a fan, and then like 4 little dinky episodes, and I'm like, what is this garbage?
Yes, 7 Deadly Sins dropped the ball. Season 1 was amazing. Season 2, I never even finished. I was just like, yeah, we're
done.
We're done. We're gonna go look up the manga and we're gonna read that, and that was significantly better.
It was so much better. Oh no, Greenie, Kaiju number 8. I wouldn't even put Kaiju number 8 and Tokyo Ghoul in the same classification. Like, worlds different, and Kaiju number 8 absolutely just blows Tokyo Ghoul right out the water. Like, I wouldn't even.
I can only speak on the first season of Tokyo Ghoul because that's the only one I saw, because it went on hiatus before they made the other ones for a little bit there. But off of first season alone, I'm giving the hand to Kaiju number 8. We'll see if the following seasons keep it as solid as Tokyo Ghoul did, but off of just the first season alone.
No. I'm telling you, the other it dropped so hard. I wouldn't spend a whole lot of time on it. The second, the
Kaiju?
It was bad. No, Tokyo Ghoul.
Oh,
it was bad. Like, not just a little bad. Like, it was bad.
Like Sword Art Online bad?
Yeah.
Okay. But not Log Horizon, because that's the OG one, and that one's still going strong, and it's still doing very well.
I mean, Log Horizon's okay. I wasn't like totally sold on it. I'm still. I peek in and try to watch a few more episodes, but it spends a lot of time world building.
Yes, it does. I like to watch it when there's nothing else to watch. Kind of like One Piece.
Yes. One Piece is good to watch when there's nothing else to watch.
I go, oh, we've got like 2 or 3 weeks before the next season releases. Well, let's catch up on One Piece. Okay, this is still a fight. This is still a fight. This is still a fight. Okay, now we're
Okay,
done with the
but
fight. Let's.
you could do the same thing with Dragon Ball Z too.
I
And you look
did.
at any of the Dragon Ball Z's all the way through the entire series. It's like, okay, we have entered into fight sequence. Okay, so the next 15 episodes is going to be him using this super ability. Right. Okay, here's where we get a little.
Are we done screaming yet? No? Okay, I'll tune in next week. Like, I love
Fine.
Dragon Ball Z for what it did for the world of anime, but I'm much more an original Dragon Ball fan. Toriyama put his heart and soul into OG Dragon Ball, and I hope Daimyo cuts back to that original writing style.
We'll see. We'll see. All right. Lady Experiment, aka Taya, would like to know: are you a Coke or a Pepsi fan?
Neither. I'm a Royal Cola fan.
Wow, that's a throwback.
Our grocery stores still sell them in
Do
bulk,
they
even
really?
if I want a 36 pack, yeah. It's so nice. Cause like I used to be a Tab guy for a while there, and then I
That was
started getting the aspartame headaches, and I was just like,
right.
okay, we need to switch back to high fructose corn syrup because it's starting to feel like migraines if I don't have aspartame.
The only time I ever drank Tab was in a mixed drink. Like I couldn't stand to drink Tab just plain.
Interesting. Okay, it's very light. It's no well, so like in terms of syrupy, I got to put Coca-Cola at the most syrupy tasting, then
Oh,
Pepsi, then RC, then Tab. To me, Coca-Cola is, well, because it's supposed to be served almost room temperature, it is
yes.
very syrupy flavored to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably my least favorite cola, but you can't. It doesn't taste the same if you do a rum and Pepsi.
No, it does not. It is not the same animal with the rum and Pepsi. You are absolutely correct on that.
Yeah, it's just got that
That
flavor
being
that's like,
said,
yeah, it was made to mix with alcohol.
a whiskey and Tab is fantastic,
It is.
which is the one of the few ways I will drink a Tab soda is with whiskey in it. That being said, I don't know too many drinks that don't go well with whiskey.
True, especially if you know how to match your whiskeys.
Boo. Yes, Taya, Royal Cola. It is a brand of soda I have not seen in.
I
It's
actually
been
have
a
one in my
long
fridge.
time. It has been
I
a very long time.
I save them for Fridays because that's the only day of the week that I will consume caffeine.
Nice. You know what goes well with whiskey? Whiskey. Yes. More
They're not
whiskey.
lying.
No, not wrong. Not wrong.
So,
I will not.
what is your whiskey of choice if you're just going to be enjoying the whiskey?
Oh, good God.
Sorry, this is your interview. Here I am asking questions.
It's fine. You're allowed to ask questions. I'm a Jameson. I like a good Jameson whiskey.
I don't think I've done Jameson since college.
There you go. If I was going to go and sit down and enjoy a whiskey, I'm going to go grab a Jameson.
I used to be what it was a very I can't find it anymore. It was a Glen something or another Speyside Scotch is what I went for years, and I haven't been able to find them anymore.
Soda. Sorry. I recommend Mr. Whiskey. It's a triple distilled Irish whiskey. Just
No thanks. I'm good.
Uh, Glen Mora,
Everclear
is
might
that
be
who you're
helpful.
thinking of?
No, maybe. I gotta Google their label.
It's a good
No.
with.
It's a Glen something, but it's not that bottle. It was a very boring looking bottle. I think it's not Glen Moray, but I think it's Glen Morangi, maybe.
Oh, I have no idea now.
You see, it could be. The logo looks similar. It might have just been a short run that they don't make anymore, but I bought a bottle of it, sampled it, went back to the store the next day, bought 3 more bottles, and those bottles stayed in my cabinet for like 10 years.
Oh,
And I finally finished them, and I went back to try to find them, and I can't find it anywhere.
Glenfiddich and Glen Cullen, right? I recognize Glen Cullen. I've never had it. Yeah, last time I reached for a whiskey anything, it was a Jameson. That's what I had. And you are allowed to ask questions. Like, this is not just me peppering you with questions long time. If you have questions you want to ask, you are welcome to ask them.
Oh, yeah, no, my brain is incredibly reactive. I usually don't know what I want to say until somebody says it and it clicks something in my head.
That's fair. Excuse me. Caddiest Odin would like to know, what is your top 5 favorite video games? More of a rum girl.
Let me open Steam real quick.
Hang on while I go to the vault.
I literally keep nothing in my head. I'm like, if I need to know this information, I know where to go to get it.
This is fantastic. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
As long as you know where to go get it at, that's the important bit. It's when you're like, I have no idea, and I don't even know where to go to look to figure that one out.
100%.
Like, aha.
I gotta throw Age of Empires 2 in there.
Okay.
Probably Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim.
Okay.
Probably God of War 2018 and Ghost of Tsushima. Those two really surprised me when those originally came out. And probably Kingdoms of Amalur or Fate.
Never heard of either of those two games.
I think it is Fate. Yeah,
So you'll have
old. They're older. They're older news style games. They're like the ones that started dealing with like actual like Renegade versus Paragon choices way before Mass Effect became a thing and EA got on the bandwagon. But yeah, they're single player RPGs, very immersive world. They're kind of like the forerunners of, hey, your actions are going to impact other things. Like if you rob this faction, they're not going to be nice to you when you talk to their leader for this quest, and now it's going to be harder for you.
right.
And they're kind of the forerunners in reactive programming into games. So I don't know if it's just nostalgia. It's probably just nostalgia at this point. But they've been remastered a couple times, and they've been a joy to go back and play the remasters because they look cleaner now. They don't look like they're 16-bit games anymore or 32-bit games. They now look like they're 64.
Yeah, I've never played them.
Yeah, I definitely. Well, Age of Empires 2 is a real-time strategy. So if
I know Age of
that's
Empires. I've done Age of Empire. To be honest, I have not gotten in. Like for me, I kind of gave up on Bethesda's system with like Skyrim and whatnot after it wasn't Morrowind. It was one following after Morrowind.
Oblivion.
Yeah. I kind of walked away from them at that point because it was like, okay, this is you haven't really invented anything new. You're just reusing all the same stuff over and over again, and I'm a little tired of it. So
Yeah.
I kind of walked away at that point.
Oh, that's what a lot of people did.
Yeah. And I don't feel bad for having done so. I'm like, you weren't producing a reasonably decent product. I'm sorry. You're not going to hold on to your fan base that way.
Oh
So
yeah.
people going back in for like Skyrim and whatnot, I'm like, okay, I'm super cool that you're doing that and you're enjoying the game. That's fine. But even now, I could go get Skyrim on what is this Xbox Game Pass, and it's free, and I'm still like, yeah, I'm not wasting hard drive space for it.
Yeah, the only reason I'm playing Skyrim again is because my community voted for it. I had a bunch of games that I purchased in the Steam summer sale because, they were like $20 or less.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, guys, I'm getting done with Ghost of Tsushima and Jedi Survivor here, so I'm gonna put this poll up for 2 weeks, in my Discord and on my Instagram page, and whatever
Go
takes the
vote
top
for it.
vote is gonna get the next game that I do, and whatever takes second place is gonna get the other slot. And
Nice.
Skyrim won by 7 votes.
Oh, so not by a little bit, but by quite a
By a
bit.
significant margin. I was like, dang, you guys really like Skyrim. And they were like, it's so cool watching people play Skyrim. And I was like, yeah, but I put like 7,000 hours into this game when it was on the PlayStation 3. If I never touch this again, I will be content. And they were like, too bad. We want to watch
Too
you play it.
bad. Time to go Safa.
Yeah, I did that one to myself, but it's it's kind of like going home for the holidays. Because I'm only playing it on stream, so it's like it's a lot less intense. It's not consuming my life. It's just kind of looming in the background menacingly, just like, hey, I could consume your life. We could relapse. We could go back to what we used to be, this toxic relationship. And I'm just like, nah, I'm good.
You want to come back. It's easy.
Oh, 100%.
Just put me in, Dave. Press the button, Dave.
Exactly that. It's just like it's like it'll make you feel better. You want to do it. And it's just like, no, I don't. You're not gonna get me.
Sorry, I couldn't resist a reference.
It's all good. All good. It does literally feel like that when I finish work, because I work remotely, so my work computer is my game computer.
Nice.
And I will literally be sitting there, finish work, and my controller is right there. And now that I have Skyrim downloaded, it's just sitting there on my desktop going, what's a couple of hours? You could do 2-3 hours. It's fine. You're not streaming today. Don't be afraid. Pick up the controller. And I'm just like, no, I have to go and wash the dishes and make dinner. I can't be doing this. What's the SpongeBob reference where he holds up the single blade razor, goes, I am a man. And he just locks it and does it.
It's like my internal monologue.
Right.
It is a thing that happens.
It is. It wants to put its hooks in me.
All Out Nerdum would like to know which millennium item did you think he would choose? Do you think he would choose? I'll learn to read these questions better. I suck at this.
I mean, every kid is like, oh, I want the Millennium Puzzle like Yugi. But when I first saw it, I was like, I want the Millennium Eye. I want the ability to see into my opponent's mind and influence their decision in a way that will just make it seem like I am really good at this game. Because if I'm bad at this game, I could just be like, nope, I'm good at this game now because I'm cheating.
I mean, that's definitely a way,
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, I was obviously like, oh, I want the Millennium Puzzle. It can turn me into an adult, and I can, not have to rely on adults. I can just go do what I want. And then as I got older, I was like, no, I think the Millennium Eye is where it's at.
Honestly, every time he used the Millennium Eye, I will be completely honest. Every time he used the Millennium Eye, I got flashbacks to what was the name of that stupid movie? Total Recall.
Oh, that has been a long time since I saw that one.
And the little mutant that like reached out to grab hold of his hand, he's like, "Open your mind," like that. Every time somebody used the that's what goes through my head. Like, I'm going to use the Millennial Eye. Open your. I'm like, oh God, don't take the slimy little mutant away from me.
I bet you had a great time with Baldur's Gate 3 where they put that worm in your eye.
I was not a fan. I'm still not a fan.
Fair. It's a very long game.
Okay, you want to talk about long games? So we have a role playing group that we do this with every Sunday. We have been playing now for a year and have not beaten the game. Because every time we die, we have to start over again from scratch with new characters and everything. We are on our 5th attempt now. And we are, cross our fingers, we have maybe one more session to complete, so long as we don't get right up to the very end and die on the last fight, which is like the biggest fear we have is like, we're going to get all the way up to the last boss and then kill over and have to start all the way over from square one.
Yeah, that boss fight is pretty rough though, so I hope you don't die.
None of us hope so. We're all like, don't die, don't die, don't do anything stupid. Of course, our current group has done everything they possibly can to do it stupid.
Such as D&D.
It's been a journey. But yeah, no, we've been on this little journey for about a year now. And so we've been doing honor mode without actually doing honor mode. Like, that's how we've been playing it.
Right. Yeah.
That being said, we are on track to finish our challenge run before a certain Zoda and Squirrel finish their Valheim challenge run. So, yeah.
I mean, it's all about flexing that you're better, right?
Well, so Zoda's going to be in two boats on that because he's part of both challenge runs. So, so on one side of the coin, he can flex it. Yeah, I'm better, and on the other side, he's like, I also suck too.
The multi-talented individual.
He really is.
I'm so good, I'm bad.
There's nothing wrong with that. Lady Taya would like to know, what is your favorite color? I don't know why I said Lady Taya.
Probably
Lady Experiment or Taya. Take your pick on.
Probably like a terracotta, like that dusky burnt orange.
Okay, I think that's the first time I've heard anybody, go with an orange color.
Yeah. I really like it. It doesn't look good on me. I'm told warm colors don't work with my skin tone. I still don't know what that means, but you know, my partner's in fashion, and I just roll with it. So I'm just I'm just like, but I like it. And they go, okay, well, paint your room that color. And so I currently have all the walls in my room that color.
Nice.
And they bought me a lot of gray and turquoise looking accessories for the room to sort of zhuzh it up. And I was like, I don't need these. And they go, you're not just gonna have a bare room that's just a bed and a dresser and a fan. And I was like,
Yeah.
why not?
Wait a minute. That works. That's good color arrangement. What are you talking about? Why not? It's fine. Leave it alone. Don't touch.
I know. I know. They were like, no, you have to decorate this the way you want to show your personality. And I was like, I don't know how to explain this to you. This is my personality. I like it minimal. I like it clean.
One dimension. It's fine. Like that.
Yes.
That is a color choice.
If I have too
Minimalist
much going
works.
on, my room can't be my sanctuary. It's just going to give me a headache.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that. I see nothing wrong with that. But whole
Yeah,
house gray.
I'm told it's a guy thing.
It might very well be. I don't know. I have not the first idea.
I
I
don't either.
am.
I try to just say, yes, dear. It's not worth fighting over. It's literally just things and stuff.
It will be fine. But it's not a guy thing. I think I don't know that I would specifically say it's a guy thing. I would say it's more of a I just think some people like small minimalism. Because I think even females can be minimalistic at certain points. Like less clutter, less stuff in the way, less things to cause visual noise.
Yes.
It was one of the things that I was talking with Britt last week about. Is there is so much noise in our world these days, from visual to informational noise, because everybody has the internet at their fingertips now. Like we have a lot of noise, and our brains spend a lot of time sifting information. And sometimes it's just better to just unplug and not deal with all the noise. And going minimalism helps with that.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I have almost nothing on my phone, is to just have that violent disconnect. Because I spend all day on my computer. I have everything at my fingertips that I can just say, I'm done with the internet for today, and just walk away.
I know a guy who has a cozy house and is very meticulous with this stuff, but it's his thing, right? Yeah, there is things to be said about not having a lot of noise. I don't know. Would you say having a sterile environment is conducive to your thought process?
For me, significantly so. I have no diagnosis, but I'm definitely feeling the tism these days. It may just be the constant overstimulation from the job that I have, but it feels like if I can have things clean and quiet around me, I can function. If I don't, I have to clean it up before I can focus on the next thing.
Clean and quiet. Yeah, I find for my workspace, I actually get a little possessive in my workspace. Don't touch things, don't move things. It like that drives me bonkers. Somebody comes in and moves something in my space.
Yes.
Um, I think that's one of the few weird oddities that I do is I have my space and I know where everything is supposed to be at. Like I've got a photographic memory of the layout of everything, and if something's moved even a quarter of an inch away from its home spot, I know somebody's touched my desk. Drives me nuts.
Same. I know when people have been in my office and I'm just like, okay, what did you do?
What did you touch?
Why were you there? There's nothing in there that says for you. This is my space. What's going on here? And it's usually like, oh, my pen ran out of ink, so I took one of yours because you have a box of them from work. And I was like, okay, ask first next time so I can keep a mental inventory because I don't want to be in the middle of my workday and then just not have a pen.
Or the pen has grown legs and walked away somewhere where it's not supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. Or like I'll find it on the floor in the next room because you just didn't put it back and it got knocked off the end table or the arm of the couch or whatever. And I'm just like, this is why we put things back.
Pets. Do you have any pets?
There is one dog. It is not mine. It is my partner's. I genuinely hope it dies soon. It was not trained properly, and there's not much you can do about it at this point.
Right.
It's also like 12 years old, so
Oh, yeah.
it's
No.
starting to become a significant financial burden. I have no
Yeah.
attachments to this animal because I never grew up with it. I came into the scene late with it, and I'm just like, you've been nothing but loud and filthy and smelly and destructive, and I want you out of my house.
That's fair. That is fair.
Yeah, I didn't grow up with pets. I had 5 siblings. We didn't need pets.
No, with 5 siblings, you wouldn't need pets. With 5 siblings, you need a referee.
Yeah. I was more often than not the referee as the oldest son, so.
Uh, I see. Well, I feel your pain. I am the eldest of 3 brothers, so or 2 brothers. There's 3 of us. I got 2 little brothers. How about that?
Okay.
I'll try to find the words that I was looking for. Zoda would like to know are your thoughts on the new series of One Piece that is soon to be released.
Oh, the remaster? It basically One Piece Kai. It's fine. It's been 20 years. It's whatever. I'll probably rewatch it once One Piece itself is done, just so I can cut the episodes down to a quarter of what they were and still get the same story. It'll definitely be One Piece that I watch after the OG show is done doing its thing.
Right.
Just like Dragon Ball Kai is to Dragon Ball Z. I just watch that these days. I don't watch original Dragon Ball Z anymore. I don't need to spend 43 episodes watching Frieza say there's 5 more minutes till this planet explodes.
I love the time dilation in that series because like
Certainly was the
legitimately
first to
everything
do it.
took forever.
Their argument, or Toriyama's argument, was he made the world slow down around the fighters to highlight just how fast these fighters were fighting.
I get
And
that. And that's
I
fair.
once I heard that, I was able to watch Dragon Ball with a different light because I was like, oh, these guys are moving really fast because this has been 20 episodes and it's the same fight. And so I was just like, it helped you kind of scale everything as the show kept progressing. And I just, I don't know, I enjoyed it. It's mildly nostalgic, but
I mean, I can understand that to a point, right? But after a point, it felt like literally we were dragging the fights on for the sake of dragging the fights on. Like, how many
yep,
episodes could we squeeze out of this? I get,
they genuinely admitted to doing that to meet manga release days and keep everything going so they wouldn't have to build filler. They would just drag out the fight instead. And I was like, wow, that's exactly what One Piece is doing.
yeah. Can we just
But
not and say we did? How about that?
see, every great anime that I have watched, I'm looking at you, Bleach, for the most part has also Yu Yu Hakusho, Inuyasha, most of
Okay.
those from the
Yu
90s.
Yu Hakusho was a fantastic series.
Still is.
Loved it.
There is only one episode today that gives pause for reflection on it could have been written better. And it's in the 3rd season, but the rest of Yu
Yes.
Yu Hakusho, it still holds up to this day.
Absolutely. Hi, Britt. Welcome in.
Hello. But yes, since you do know Yu Yu Hakusho, you know exactly the episode I was talking about that is
Yes.
curdled like milk. But
Yes.
I mean, in everybody's defense,
But
he's a
okay,
teenage boy, and
out of 3
it was
series,
the 90s.
3 seasons of Yu Yu Hakusho, 1 episode was bad.
4 seasons,
sorry.
actually.
Was it 4? Yes, 4. You're right.
Yeah. There was only 1 bad episode.
Yeah.
And it was because he
That
was a
to
horny
me
teenage
is-
boy that did not get what he was expecting. It's literally all it was. And everyone's like, "Oh, you can't have that." And I was like, "You literally can. He's a teenage boy who's an idiot."
Sure.
It writes itself.
Absolutely does.
Oh, Rose stole my piece. we grabbed the same piece. I was like, "Oh, I'm going to try to figure out where this one fits."
Ink gone. It is a thing that happens.
Oh yeah.
Very much get used to pieces disappearing on you if you're not quick enough.
Yeah, I definitely have to say Yu Yu Hakusho is probably my most enjoyed anime of all time.
Okay, so I'm going to ask the question just because I want to see where you're going to put it at. Heavy metal, anime, or animation?
Heavy metal anime or animation?
No, heavy metal. Would you consider that an anime or animation?
I have to Google what it is because I'm not remembering it.
I feel. All right. I'll wait for you to find it.
I don't know. It could go either way, honestly. I've never
Have you
been
seen
like
it?
I've not seen it, but I've never really been a purist on, hey, this is considered anime, this is considered animation. Outside of like the overall art style, because like obviously anime has progressed from the 70s when it started up till today, but I don't know if it doesn't look like that gobbledygook stuff that they put on Cartoon Network these days. Why not call it animation? It's semi-realistic, you know?
A lot of that's got to do with the art style and the storytelling style. Like there is no backing manga to go with heavy metal. The comic book that eventually came to back heavy metal came after the movie dropped.
I don't know. I mean, anime is just animation, in my opinion. It's just done better. There's a little more respect on its name. Most of the time.
Mm.
Oh my god, I finally
See,
found that keyboard piece. This piece right here, I've been looking since like the very beginning at because I kind of built everything up here, and I think Rose or Katie's put together most of the keyboard, and I was trying to fill in the rest of it, and I just could not
yeah,
find the piece.
it's fine.
It's very
That
satisfying
just
now.
just your reaction to finally getting that piece. Ah, I finally found it. Yes.
It may or may not have been driving me insane. It's fine.
I just kind of keep picking pieces up. I'm like, does this fit anywhere? Nah. All right, I'll just throw it over somewhere else and just kind of move pieces around.
I've been trying. I've been trying.
It's fine. Like there's no rush to try and get the puzzle done. Like this, honestly, this is just there to give people things to enjoy doing. Now, if you some of our members are like, no, it must get finished. It has to be done by for the end of the episode. Otherwise, they'll continue to work on it after the episode's over.
Which,
It's fine.
different strokes, right?
It's fine. It is just fine. I take it as a challenge. See, it's fine. We're here for it, and as long as you're enjoying it, that's what counts.
Oh yeah, definitely helps.
Caddy would like to know: do you have a favorite book, comic, or manga that you enjoy?
I got a couple. Not specifically books, but series.
Fine.
Before it became a world-renowned thing, Solo Leveling was the manga that I would tell everybody go read it. Read the manhwa, not the manga, because the manhwa was already colored. The manga was in the process of being colored at the time.
Right.
But then it kind of just blew up, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, Solo Leveling is amazing." Well, it is, but that would be the manga. That would be the manga that I used to be absolutely hyped out for. Book series though is the Ranger's Apprentice universe by I think it's Rick Flanagan. Um, John Flanagan, sorry. There's 3 series: The Ranger's Apprentice, The Royal Rangers, and then The Brotherhood Chronicles. Basically the same group of people, different stories, different parts of their lives, same
Right.
universe. It all ties together. It's very well done. Young adult books, but definitely more going on than what a young adult's mind would be able to read into it. So quite short books, but there's a lot of them, so it can keep you entertained.
I don't see. I don't measure a book being good or bad depending on its size. Like some of my favorite series are like The Incarnation of Immortality. I think any one of those books is about 200 to 300 pages tops, and it's not a very long book, but it's a great story.
Yep. Also, anything by Rick Riordan. I've re-gotten into him because I read the original Percy Jackson books in high school, but he's come out with so many other books, and my partner has just been buying them for me. And I'm just like, oh wow, it's like you knew what I wanted. Um, and then probably the Inheritance series, starting with the book Aragon and going through that series of books. I have reread those so many times.
Nice.
Very much.
Adding to book reviews. Thank you.
Yeah, they're all I don't know. I consider them easy readers. Like I I find them to be very easy to read. There's not a whole lot of like inappropriate situations in the books. Every now and then there'll be something that's like, "Oh no, this could be very risque," and it usually gets resolved before that because, of the genre of book that it is. Because I don't
Right.
like anything that's like too traumatizing in my reading. I like to keep it light and entertaining.
So you would say you're still a very much a sci-fi or a fantasy sort of reader.
I prefer fantasy to sci-fi. Um, I can do sci-fi. It's not a problem. It's just I gravitate towards fantasy.
Interesting.
Give me spells and swords and the plague over traveling the stars with phasers and teleporters any day.
It spells swords in the plague, huh?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Okay, so not all sci-fi is traveling around with phasers.
Correct. We do have what is it, Jules Verne that had like a cowboy sci-fi thing where it happened in like the early 1800s, if I remember correctly. Or is that just Back to the Future 3? I don't
It's just
know.
Back to the Future 3.
But either way, I don't mind it. It's just to me it feels like the problems should be significantly more solvable than the world is letting them be, which is
Right.
probably why I just can't get into sci-fi. Is like, what do you mean you're limited by the technology of your time? You can regrow limbs.
Well, yes, but just because you can regrow a limb does not necessarily mean that you can, stop a sun from exploding. Like those would be two very different sort of technologies that you would require to do something of that nature.
Yeah, I guess the problems are just too big for me to see realistically when it comes to sci-fi.
That's okay. That's fair. Like I can understand a situation where like, okay, I can't, if you can't comprehend the complexities of the problems, and trying to even solve for the problem becomes in itself its own problem.
Yeah, a lot of the times when I get into sci-fi, like even back with like some of the Star Trek episodes back in the day, I would just be like, okay, this is way too big for you guys to solve. Why are you not like seeking help to get through this? Like, why are you just letting it? Why are you trying to tackle it yourself? Just go ask for help.
Well, and
And then
in
they'll be
some
like, the
cases,
comms are down. And it's just like, oh, of course the comms are down.
you know, well, yeah, you read suspense into the problem, and
I hate suspense. It's not good for my heart.
but I don't know that suspense is good for anybody's heart, to be fair.
Yeah, it just makes me feel uncomfortable. I'm like, why are we making this situation so dire? It does not need to be this dire. Just leave. It's not our problem anymore. And they're like, nope, we can't. We're the good guys. And I was like, well, that sounds like a you problem. I'm closing this book. See, I left. I got away safely.
If only you could solve all of the problems like that, right?
Yeah.
What? I don't like this. I'm just going to close the book. There. I
Yep.
have made the problem go away. It is now somebody else's problem.
That is exactly how I read a book. I go, oh, this story is really cool. And then it gets to a part that's uncomfortable, and I'm just like, no, we're done. It's fine. It
So
got,
you
it
just put
got,
the you put the whole
oh,
book down. You don't like skip ahead.
yep. Why would I skip ahead? I would have to know how the problem gets resolved. I don't
Well,
even
that's
want
why
to face the problem.
Fair. That's fair.
Like that's the only place I can run away from my problems is in books, is because everything else I have to deal with. So it's just like, no, when it comes to entertainment, I will pick stuff that is going to make me happy. I'm not going to rile myself up and get stressed about it because I have enough of that in my day to day.
Caddy says it's called skimming. Yeah.
It's fine. You can skim. I'm just not. Because then I'll be reading like 2 or 3 chapters in, and then it'll be like, I don't remember reading this, and it'll be like, oh, it probably happened in that part that I didn't want to read. And
Yeah,
then
makes it easy, right? So you're like, oh, it happened there. I don't have to worry about it.
no, because
They
then I'll want to
resolved it
go
already.
back and read it just to make sure I have the details correct, and then I'll just be like, why did I go back and read this?
I see. Catch 22.
It literally is.
That right there brings back some memories.
Oh, the old CBM.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Well,
my
and then
father had one of those. I had the Game Boy,
yeah.
but I think my father had the CBM.
Memories. Just what you like to see sometimes. It's fun.
Pretty good memories.
Well, it's like I'm looking at the stack of games over here. I'm like, I played that one. If this had a little bit better texture to tell me what the name was, I probably played that one too. These are a bunch of Atari games, which is what this console is right here.
Oh yeah, the Viper 2000 or the Video 2000.
Yes, the Video 2400. Yep.
Yeah, I saw one of those in my uncle's basement. He wouldn't let us touch it.
Interesting. So,
yeah.
do you when reading? So you read some manga, obviously, right? Do you run into the same? Do you run into the same problems in manga where you're like, I'm going to stop reading this manga because I just ran into a situation that I don't want to deal with?
Yep. I can tell you for a fact that was Shield Hero. Still haven't finished up season 1. I got to
Shield Hero was horrendous, though.
Yeah.
Honestly, Shield Hero was tame compared to Resurrected. What was that? Resurrected Cleric, or what's the name of that? I have to go look it up. I don't remember.
Cleric. I have the Great Cleric on my watch list. That one's pretty good. Very wholesome.
You won't find it on Crunchyroll.
Got it.
I'm trying to remember what. No, not the Great Cleric. Why did they bring up the Great Cleric?
I brought up the Great Cleric. I like the Great Cleric.
No, I Googled and that's what I'm like. That's not the right one. Basically, he was a redo of a hero. That's what it was called. Redo of a healer.
Redo of a healer?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. That one was significantly more sexual than I thought it was going to be. But like, for some reason, I was able to get through that one. But Shield Hero, I was just like, I cannot. This is too realistic, I guess. Like, this is something that could actually happen. Redo a healer, I was like, oh, this is someone's just sick self-insert satisfying fanfic. Okay. I don't know. It was I don't know. It was easier for me to get through
Okay.
Redo a Healer than it was Shield Hero.
Nice.
Not really,
I
but
well,
I
I mean,
watched it because it was recommended, and I was like, okay, might need to reevaluate that friendship with this recommendation.
I have watched both of them all the way through. Like, I think for what the heroes, the protagonists went through in their respective worlds, Redo of a healer, I think, was far more brutal and punishing to the hero than Shield Hero was. Because at least with the Shield Hero, yes, he went through some really kind of craptacular things, but he comes out the other side still better in the long run because of all of his friends and everything else. Where Redo of a Healer really was him he got like
Power
crushed.
Fantasy.
Yeah. And you're
Yeah.
not watching a hero coming back out of this. He's basically becoming the villain of the series.
That's probably why I could watch it, is because I was like, oh, he's doing the same thing of becoming a villain. Yeah, okay. That's reasonable.
And
Like,
and for me that was kind of where I was like, I'm not so certain I'm like wholly into that, just because.
oh yeah. It's not something anybody's wholly into. It's just something that's like, oh, this is happening. Okay, he's specifically very evil to this one lady for very good reason, but everyone else he's kind of, not terrible to, but he's definitely not nice.
No, definitely not nice. Yes, and the way he treated like I don't think two wrongs make a right. That's all I'm saying. Like, for me,
You can quote Batman on that one.
right. Like, to me, that just, I don't think two wrongs make a right. And so for me, that's where my struggle is between the two. So if I had to pick between the two of them, I would watch Shield Hero again, just because overall he still, no matter what they do to him, he still attempts to be the bigger individual at the end of the day. Does that make sense?
It does. I can't get through that first half of the season. It's just too.
Oh
it's
yeah,
too
the first
close
season
to
was.
home.
Now, that being said, Sword of Truth, which is a series, I have to go look up the author because I'm drawing up. I think it's no, not Sword of Truth. Excuse me. Wizard's First Rule. That's the name of the book. And I've got to go look up who the author is of that.
Terry Goodkin.
Yep.
Yeah,
You
I
want to
Googled
talk?
it
Yes.
as well.
Yep. Then it's a good series, but you want to talk about somebody who gets absolutely just brutalized through the entirety of the series.
Yeah, I think one of my friends recommended me reading that, but I just couldn't find it at my local library at the time, and I was like, I'm not spending on a book that I haven't any knowledge on. So
It's a
it
good
was
book,
one.
but yeah, it's another one of those where the hero does get, kind of mashed about.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like to keep it, light and wholesome when I do my entertainment these days.
That's fair. There's nothing wrong with that.
I know. As I said, my partner loves crime documentaries, horror, murder mystery, suspense thriller, and they're just like, but this stuff is fun. And I'm like, no, this stuff is what's happening in the world regularly. I do not want my entertainment to be realism. I want the escapism.
And
I want
that's
the field
yes.
fantasy.
I mean, if you're diving in for entertainment, escapism is one of the reasons why you're going into it, because shit sucks. So let me go find a little quiet little corner and just exist for a little bit and be happy.
Yeah, let me enjoy my wholesomeness fantasies. Like, leave me alone. It's okay.
It's just fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, these are just questions, right? At the end of the day, it's like,
yeah. Yeah,
just...
like my entire anime list is basically like feel good isekais where it's just the hero's gonna come out in a pretty good light the entire time because he's overpowered, he's written to win. He might have one or two setbacks over the 12 episodes, but
yeah, I mean, he's
definitely
got
by
plot
episode
armor,
12.
so who cares, right?
100% plot armor. Yeah. Plot armor is the best armor.
Oh, you want to talk about boy from the last if a boy from the last dungeon came to the first city. I don't think that's the accurate name, but it's close enough. Have you seen that anime?
Boy from the Last Dungeon Boonies?
No.
Supposed kid from the Last Dungeon Boonies moved to the starter town. That's the title.
Yeah. I knew something like that. I'm like, I know it's something.
Yes,
I can
I have
usually
seen
remember
that one.
close enough. That was pretty funny.
It was good. It was lots of chuckles in that one.
Like that to me feels you were a demon all along. I didn't have to pretend. You go find a guy who can actually kick your butt, and I will be right back.
It's like, hey, I know a guy. Give me like 2 days to travel.
Yeah, like 2 seconds. We'll go get him. He'll come in here and he'll take care of you right away.
It's like Vegeta during the Cell fight.
Okay, I that I think drove me nuts more than anything else was the like 15 episodes or so of them being in the little time capsule for 24 hours.
Hyperbolic time chamber.
We need a way to power them up, but we need to be able to make it so that nobody questions the fact that, you know, we just suddenly turned them into these super guys.
It's like you get a whole year's worth of training in one day. Cool. Why have we not used this before?
Like, why don't we use this all the time?
Why don't we use this when the Saiyans were invading us? It's like Yamcha wouldn't have died. Neither would have Tien or Chatsu or Piccolo. We could have avoided the entire Namek saga if we could have just used the hyperbolic time chamber in the first place.
And how many times are we going to cheat death for everybody and just resurrect everybody through the power of these mystical Dragon Balls?
Oh, at least once more, sir.
Again, not downing Dragon Ball Z's, but a lot of a lot of the stuff is very like, okay, why did we spend, you know, a bunch of episodes fighting Cell when we could have just gone and found the 7 Dragon Balls? You know, these guys can fly around at supersonic speed. So you spend 4 or 5 episodes with them flying from here to there with the Dragon Ball radar. Go pick up the balls, Yamana, summon in Dragon Balls, make Cell go away. Done.
So they actually explain that in the long version of the show. It's because Cell was stronger than Kami, which means the dragon could not fulfill the wish because it's only as strong as Kami. Yeah, bit of a
well, there you go.
Plot hole that they patched. Well, they actually said that about Shenron since the first time that they met Kami, and they're like, well, can you do this? And he's like, no, that is outside of my power, therefore the dragon can. They're like, you can literally bring people back from the dead. And he goes, well, yes, that's just magic. That's not strength. because they were like, Kami, why don't you just get rid of the Saiyans? And Kami was like, the Saiyans are stronger than me. I physically cannot move them through time and space, like moving you from Namek here, because you would come willingly. They would have to willingly want to be transported for me to be able to move them.
Right. So they did finally get around to. See, I didn't get much past DBZ.
It wasn't. It was so the original Shenron explanation was in the end of original Dragon Ball about the limitations of Kami and what the dragon can do because of it. And then it was kind of just mentioned in passing when Goku was on the lookout after Raditz's death and everything. Because Raditz died and was like, the other Saiyans are on their way. They'll kill you and everyone here, and then just dies. And then everyone's like, oh no, more Saiyans. Let's talk to Kami to see if he can sense them because he's like this mystical being.
Right.
And then Kami was like, oh no, they're so strong. You're all gonna die. Here, Mr. Popo, you train them. Yeah. Like I said, Dragon Ball had great writing. Dragon Ball Z was left something to be desired for me.
Well, and for me, watching Dragon Ball Z, I was watching it when it was coming out here in the States live on the show. So I missed that one because I remember Dragon Ball all the way up to when Goku got his tail cut off because they determined he was the big beast that turned into at the full moon at the end of the series. Yada yada yada.
Oh, that's literally the Pilaf saga. That's like the first couple of first dozen episodes. Okay.
And then from there, I didn't pick back up Dragon Ball until the Namek sagas when Super Saiyan came out. So like I've got a big gap right in between there because
that is almost the entire show gap. Yeah. that is all the build up lore that I was just explaining. Yeah.
I had no, again, but it was a lot of let me just scream into the television for 30 minutes. I'm like, you guys who are voice acting this, I got to give you credit for lung capacity.
Oh yeah. There's so many stories of Sean Schemmel passing out in the recording booth trying to do the screaming for Goku's scenes. It's just crazy to me.
I voice actors are a breed unto their own, especially when you're doing stuff like what we see in the anime. Because let's face fact, the animes, they don't have the same limitations as we would for like normal actors. And so they can push bounds because they're like, oh, well, if we can draw it, then we can make it happen.
Exactly, yeah. Which is why I think I like anime so much more than I do live action. Just because it's more fantastical.
I think it's easier to get
well, one of us had that
it's
piece
easier
right.
to escape in. Oh yeah, I had it right because mine went in.
Yeah.
I think it's easier to escape into anime. Just because your ability to do a suspension of disbelief is easier for an anime series that you're watching because it is so fantastical. The Marvel movies coming out are really good at trying to get you to do a bunch of suspension of disbelief in the way that they portrayed the heroes and everything else, and some of the latest like CGI effects and everything they've been punching in there to really.
Oh, see, I disagree. I think they're very bad, actually. I tried. I got through phase 1 and part of phase 2 for the Marvel movies, and I just couldn't do it. I was like, no, the writing has gotten so bad. I cannot make myself watch anymore.
Well, okay. To be fair, I have not seen any of the Marvel Infinity Wars uh, beyond like some of the introductory pieces. And the biggest reason behind that is because I remembered when the Infinity War saga came out in comic book format, and I remember reading it across all the various different like Spider-Man and Punisher, and like everybody had a piece in the Infinity Gauntlet War.
Yep.
So that's the Infinity War that I remember growing up as a kid. So the one that's in the current MCU, fine, but I haven't been able to watch all of that because it just doesn't. It's not the same for me. That being said, I will give them credit on the work that they're doing in trying to bring this into a film state. Like that's not an easy. Hey, Vixen, welcome in. Welcome in.
It's too easy for me to just be like, no, I don't like this. I'm done.
It's fine. Well, and that's fair. But I mean, you're allowed to, right? Like everybody's allowed to have their opinion on things. You're allowed to say, yeah, no, it just sucks.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with stating your opinion on matters like that. Like some people are like, no, this is really good, and I know people that they're like, no, what are you talking about? The MCU is absolutely fantastic. And like there are people who will tell you Tobey Maguire was the best Spider-Man, and I'm going to just shake my head at it because no, he really wasn't.
He certainly was good for his time that he had, but I definitely think Andrew Garfield was the better. That is another unpopular take.
No, I think Andrew Garfield got the better Spider-Man role. Like when they came back and redid Spider-Man.
True.
I think if you had put Tobey Maguire in there as that Spider-Man, we would be sitting going, yeah, Tobey Maguire was a great Spider-Man. I think he got the better Spider-Man role. I think when they came back and they redid the Spider-Man movies and they remade Andrew Garfield's version of the Spider-Man, that was much better than the one that we saw that Tobey Maguire was playing. Tobey Maguire's version of Spider-Man actually reminds me very much of a comic book from the Watcher series, where Spider-Man's power was actually he at one point made his spider a natural part of his body versus but he also grew, an extra couple of arms too along the way. But I could very much see that Tobey Maguire being that part of that Spider-Man. Like okay, that came from that spin-off from the Watcher series, and I'm okay. I can live with that, right? Like that, fine. I can make that work.
Yeah, I get that. I had to do that for Marvel, for a lot of those Marvel movies too, because I was like, this isn't the comics I read. What is this? And then I was like, oh no, they're trying to do trying to do this universe. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, see how this turns, and then they take another turn away from the source material. I'm like, okay, you guys, I get you're trying to write a cool story, but can we at least have some rigidity here?
Well, but at the same token, too, we're also talking about, Stan Lee signed off on a lot of these. Excuse me, a lot of these movies. So if the original author's like, it's fine, I can't really jump up and down too much about that. I may not like it as a fan of the original source, but if you've got the blessings of the creator of it, I mean, what are you going to do?
I don't know. I've seen some blessings of the creator that are just like, I don't think the creator even understands their own work. I was like, no, you made it, but you definitely forgot what it was.
It's fair, right? It is very much so a fair statement. My piece went there, not yours. Haha.
Hee hee ha ha.
But yes, no. Back to the original statement, though. I do. I think Garfield got the better Spider-Man role.
Yeah, I can give him that one. No problem. I just
Because
also like Andrew Garfield as an actor more than I do Toby, even though Toby has had some very interesting stuff.
Tobey Maguire's done some very interesting pieces. Yes. Now, if we're going to take them on the form of their ability to act, that's a different. I think that's a totally different conversation they had at that point.
Yeah, because then Dwayne The Rock Johnson takes the cake on that one.
Why did I know you were a Rock fan?
I'm not.
I'm so I will I will never see him as anything other than the wrestler that he was.
Same. He's like, no, I'm an actor now. I go, no, Dave Bautista is an actor now. You're a wrestler playing dress up.
No, Batista is still a wrestler.
I thought he stopped.
Huh? No, I'm just, for me personally, that's all I'll ever see him as is a wrestler.
Oh, gotcha.
Like to me, these guys, that's where I first saw him at. That's what I got used to seeing him doing, is getting out there and mixing it up in the ring and that sort of thing. He literally plays himself.
That's sometimes the hardest role.
Do you know? Yes.
Oh, somebody buried a piece, I think. Nope, there it is.
Yeah, there's the old Atari, there's the Commodores, there's the Game Boys. I'm like, oh, look. Dave has more diversity roles wise.
I mean, The Rock could if he wanted them. He just keeps doing the same pigeonhole.
Anybody could do better than Hulk Hogan when it comes to acting.
I don't think I saw that one. I'm not quite in my 40s.
Anybody could have done a much better job than Hulk Hogan. Well, when the Hulk Hogan's whole thing is to run out there, flex his arm, and be like, "Yeah,
Chuck Norris say what?
Wild over you." I'm like, oh, God. All right. Do you prescribe to the Chuck Norris and all of the stupid Chuck Norris memes that are floating out there?
So I did not enjoy Chuck Norris as an actor, nor Bruce Lee for the era, but the memes are precious, and I love the fact that even the older people, like even the ones that were like kids when Chuck Norris was doing all his kung fu stuff, are like, oh my gosh, this is like biblically accurate Chuck Norris. And everyone younger than us, are just like, oh yeah, Chuck Norris is just like that Russian meme where, like in Russia, potatoes farm you, but it's Chuck Norris. So everyone was like, oh yeah, we get the bit. That's totally cool. There's an old guy that this bit applies to. Why not? Let's just lay into it.
I mean, I was watching a YouTube video where they actually had Chuck Norris reading out his own like little Norris facts.
I remember that one. Yeah.
That was so funny. Just watching his reaction. Like, could you imagine sitting there for a moment just reading these? Like, Chuck Norris doesn't exercise. Exercise does it for Chuck Norris or something. Yeah. Yep. You're just like, what? Wait, how is?
Yeah, it's like one time a snake bit Chuck Norris, and then the snake died.
It's just like,
Yeah, it's to the point where it's so absurd that it's just funny. It's not like,
well, I think that's
not like a side stitch. Yeah, it's not a side stitch funny, but it's like, okay, that was clever.
It was fantastic, right?
Yeah.
Rose took top honors in this one.
Nice. Yeah, puzzles are not my forte. As you probably saw, I get hyper fixated on a certain piece, and I'm like, I have to figure this one out.
Oh, so my fixation with puzzles comes down to I've got to get the edges done.
Yep,
Like if
I
I get
edge
nothing
first.
else done, the edge has to get done. And if I get the edges done, I don't care. You hand me a piece, I find where this sits at, and I will slap it down somewhere in the middle, and it goes there, and I will walk away from that piece.
Yeah, see, and I mean,
Bees, welcome
you might
in.
have seen me pulling pieces out of the middle. I go, I gotta get this out of here. I gotta see what could fit there. And somebody just kept putting pieces into the black space in the middle. I'm like, no, I need to be able to like use line of sight, see, hey, there's a line on this. Where would this sit along the way? And
I
then
feel like
if
I was probably the one that was doing all of that because I'm like, oh, here's this piece. I think it goes there, and I'll just drop it off and then go off looking for another piece. I'm like, it didn't fit where I thought it was going to, so I'll just leave that there and I'm going to go find another piece.
yeah, and I would just I would just be sitting there going, okay, so there's a bit of a slope here, so I'm gonna follow it. Okay, this piece might go here. I'm gonna put it here because I need one more piece to connect it and lock it in, but we're gonna figure it out.
It's
Meanwhile, we had
falling.
Katie over there building a keyboard.
Yep.
Katie was like, I want to take these blurred pieces, I'm gonna figure it out.
Katie and Rose just killing it out there. But yeah, this is the old 5 1/4 floppy disk over here in the top corner. I remember those very well.
Yep. Your
And
favorite puzzles
this,
are
I
one
believe,
color? Ooh, Shay. Bold.
painful.
Yeah.
This I think was the old keyboard that was sent with the original Ataris
Hmm.
that you could get your hands on. And then this was a keyboard for, I believe that's Mac, or maybe that's the original. Oh no, this is the original Commodore. It was a 64 keyboard right there. And then the 64 128, and then you had the CBM, this was a fun one. This is, however, not to size.
Yes.
This is a toy.
Like I said, my father had one of those back in the day. Like everything on here is probably 20 years before I started gaming or was old enough to start gaming, maybe 25.
Mm.
I think my first PC was a Windows 95.
Hey, take care, Percy. We'll see you later. Yeah, we got a little bit more time. We're doing all right on time.
Yeah.
I thought maybe I was going to. I figured maybe we might want to make a few more pieces on the puzzle, but but apparently we got done with a little faster than I was expecting. I don't know that I have. Bye. I don't know that I have any more puzzles, so we'll just have to finish out the rest of this with just you and I going at this thing and
No
answering
worries.
any other questions from our community boards here. So when you do your what has been your favorite game to stream so far in like the last, say, month?
In the last month,
because looking back at your history of games that you have been playing, you were definitely in there for a variety streamer. So.
yes, I am the variety of variety streamers. I do see a lot of people who are like, I'm a variety streamer. They play a game for all of their streams till it's done, and then they start a new game. I'm literally doing a different game every time I stream, it feels like.
Yes.
But I do have to say Warhammer was pretty darn fun. It's definitely not a solo game, just like Helldivers. Super fun, but not a solo game. If you can get friends, those games are game of the year with friends. Solo, they're mid at best. Ghost of Tsushima was probably the most fun that I've had in this last month's cycle of games.
Mm-hmm.
With Jedi Fallen Order taking a close second.
Have you done Survivor yet?
Yes, I finished that last week, or not last week, but the week before.
See, I thought Survivor was better than Fallen Order.
Survivor does have better combat and ability usage, but I just found Fallen Order to be a very straightforward, this is how you play, this is the enemy, this is how you go through, and then you're done. I think it only took me like 3 streams, and I was done with Jedi Fallen Order, 100% completed on stream.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, that wrapped up with a nice bow on it, and everything was very easy to get to, very easy to collect. The abilities that you needed came online, and you didn't have to do too much backtracking to get the other things because you were going back anyway because the story took you there.
Right.
Whereas Jedi Survivor is like, oh, you have this ability now. Kobo just got even bigger, if you can believe it. And you're just like, oh god, more Kobo. All the nooks and crannies of Kobo. I don't want to go looking for seeds. Just let me
Well, that was
kill
the nice thing
things.
about Survivor is you didn't have to. I mean, you could backtrack, but I mean, if you were trying to 100% it, then yes, you would have to backtrack and explore and go find every nook and cranny. Percy, AJ, have yourself a wonderful rest of your evening. Thank you for stopping by and hanging out, and thank you for the raids. But like, I don't. Are you like? Do you regularly, when you play a game, is that like your goal before you consider it completed on stream? Is that you have to 100% it, or you just get all the way
Not
to see the
particularly.
credits?
I just try to get through the game. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, hey, I know this next story mission is going to take me like an hour to get through, and I only have like 25 minutes left in the stream, so I'm going to do some collectible stuff while
Mm-hmm.
we wait to wrap up.
Right.
And that's when Jedi Survivor started frustrating me because it's like, oh, now I have to figure out how to get there. Oh, I don't have that power unlocked yet. That's great. Okay, there's nothing else I can really do now other than story because I don't have like those like map things that you get towards the end of the game where it starts revealing to you where all the hidden stuff are.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, well, I don't want to run around for the next 30 minutes cutting plants to see if it'll give me a seed because you can only really see the like lightning bugs when it's dark out and you can't exactly wait till night. So it's just was like one of those things where I was just like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna go grind some levels. It's fine. We'll just rest and mow through a bunch of Bedlam Raiders, and we'll rest again and mow through a different level of Bedlam Raiders. I'll try to fight this area boss and this area boss, and yeah,
Right.
it just became a slog, and I still didn't have all of the skill points in the game. I know they have a new game plus for it, and you're supposed to get the rest of the skills in the new game plus. But in
Mm-hmm.
Jedi Fallen Order, I had them all in one playthrough. No, not really any backtracking. So I was like, the way Fallen Order did it, just wrapped up the game in a nice bow. You can go through the game, 100% it, and not really sit there and grind for it. It was just very straightforward.
So definitely not looking at the new Outlaw then.
I did look at the new Outlaw. It is not very good. I've had a couple friends stream it, and the on stream glitches that I've seen happen with their games. I'm just like, yeah, we're gonna wait a couple months, maybe a year before we pick that up. Wait for some heavy patchwork to be done,
Mm-hmm.
and
So it's
then maybe we'll
interesting
give it a
because
shot.
there's been a number of people that I've watched and they've not had any issues with Outlaw. I wonder if
Yeah,
that's. I guess that's probably just set up your computer setup at some point, because I imagine if you're running it with an underpowered system, then you're probably going to run into a few oddities.
I don't know. I had some
Um,
guys running it with what is not, I think it's last year or the year before's generation of processor and like a 4080 graphics card and 64
right.
gigabytes of RAM. So they got a pretty hefty system on their hands, and it was glitching for them. I had some people who were playing it on console and it was glitching for them. And I had other people who just went through it perfectly fine. And I was like, okay, this is Cyberpunk all over again. Got it. I'm just gonna not take the risk and wait for a couple patches, and then maybe get my toes wet if I have time to play it.
Fair. Yeah, I just didn't know where you stood on that, but you know. Now, have you tried getting in on any of like the simulation games, like Lawnmower Simulator or Farm Simulator, or there's a whole niche for like the truck driver simulators, which
Yeah, I've seen a couple people play them, and I'm just like, that would be really cool for something like this, where we just sit there, co-op, wash a car, wash a backyard, very mindless. It's not something I could stream because I would get way too bored just with myself if nobody else is in there doing it with me.
right.
Like even Minecraft, I have a hard time doing solo because it just feels like a game that's meant to be played with other people.
Well, I mean, yeah, it can be played with other people, and it can be played. Some people play it so like I'm a Minecrafter. I enjoy my Minecraft, but I'm a redstoner, so I
Okay.
do a lot of my work solo. Because once I set up the farm or the machine or whatnot, then it runs, so I don't have to play certain parts of the game, and so all I
Yep.
have to do is just stand around. And so a lot of my time is spent literally making the machines that make all the other blocks. And then once all the blocks have been made, all the machines that have been made that will make all the blocks, I've reached the end of my gameplay. Like,
Yep.
okay, I have figured out how to automate everything. I'm good. Now, every time I start up a new world, I change the way I automate. Like, you still make the same blocks at the end of the day, but I change the pattern of the machine, how I'm doing it, whatever, to make it interesting. But again, once the machines are made, then I'm kind of done, and I do that solo.
Yeah, I never got into the redstoning side of things. I've been trying to get into the potion side of things
Mm-hmm.
because for the longest time I was just the delver or builder or farmer, and you can spend endless
Oh,
hours in Minecraft just mining for things, taking everything back up, refining it, building with it,
mm-hmm.
working on your farms for a day.
Yes.
Um, but since I took a hiatus from Minecraft and came back like a year or two ago, there's been so many things that have changed that I've just slowly been trying to figure out, like, what the heck is netherite? What does enchanting do now? Because apparently enchanting changed, and I almost have that figured out now. Villagers now, you can actually give them jobs and get stuff back from them.
Yep.
So it's been a lot to get into, which is why I was doing a solo Minecraft world, is because I was like, I don't want anybody telling me what to do. I want to just figure it out on my own as I get my toes dipped into the pool for Minecraft again.
Oh,
So
you've been out of it for a while then. If all those are new features to you.
the Nether portal is actually a portal and not just a block of cobblestone with a star inside of it. So yes.
Yeah.
I started my Minecraft days around the same time I started my Skyrim days, because I think I was playing the Minecraft beta before it actually dropped, and then
Yeah.
I played Minecraft for like 3, 4 years, and like nothing changed for those like 3 or 4 years, and I was like,
No, not in the early days. No.
okay, I think I'm done with Minecraft. I'm gonna put it on the shelf, and then I never looked back. And then a bunch of my friends were like, bro, Minecraft Cave and Cliffs update. I was like, what do you mean Cave and Cliffs update? They kept updating Minecraft? They go, no, you don't understand. Notch sold it. I go, when? He's like, and they're like, literally like right after you stop playing it. And I was like, oh, what changed? And they're like,
Like everything has
oh,
changed.
dude, it's not even the same game no more. And I was like, what is it, Fortnite? And they're like, no,
No.
but it could be.
There's actually mods that you can make it Fortnite. Like you can add guns to the game now and whatnot. There's
So I've been
especially in the Java
dabbling,
world.
Yeah, I've been
Now,
dabbling into the mods.
Okay, so you are a Java player. All right.
Well, yeah. I had to because Bedrock kind of got phased out, and I had it on console first, so I was Bedrock. Then when I switched to PC, everyone was like, "You have to play Java. You can do things with Java." And I was like, "Okay, but Bedrock has limitless combat and better building techniques. You can like build directly underneath you and keep walking." And they're like, "Yeah, but Java's got all these cool little things attached to it, so I have Java on my computer."
Yeah. So there's actually 3 versions of Minecraft now because you have Bedrock, you have Java, and then you have the Windows version. Because the Windows version is not Java.
Ooh. No, I
The
have
problem
Java.
is the Windows version is you can't mod the Windows version. You can only mod the Java version. You can't mod Bedrock. But yeah, a lot has changed, including the fact that you now have like auto crafters in some of the later ticks, which were open up so many different new conceptual machines that you can make, because now you can have a machine or a series of machines that will take resources and then just crank them into crafted other resource item, which you can then toggle to craft another resource item. And I was in the process.
To get a little Factorio there.
Pretty much. We had a vanilla world that we were playing, and I was in the process of designing out a large scale storage and factory system that was basically going to just redstone stuffs too. Yeah. Basically just going to build every block in the game. Like, if it can be crafted, we'll make it and store it and keep track of it that way. But
yeah, I heard with the new Sculk sensors, like you can even have farms
wireless
to like age copper and shit. And I was like, that's crazy. So like once it gets to a certain level of like verdigris, it'll just whatever the machine is that'll harvest it, just like probably a piston, just like pushes it into like the river to pick it up, and then you just go. And I'm just like, that's crazy. But
it gets, yeah. Well, so there's different ways of doing that, and it really does get interesting. We'll say it that way. I can think of a number of different like copper aging farms that you can do. The only problem with copper aging, and the community, especially the Redstone community, has made some like really fantastical contraptions about aging a copper, and a lot of work has gone into figuring out the exact. It's all based around math.
Oh yeah.
So for they actually found that you're actually better off to have a bunch of copper blocks on diagonals from each other. And those age faster because as one block changes, it actually causes the other blocks around it that it's on a diagonal corner from to go through a block update check. And so it increases the chance that for every one that changes, it can spider and cause a wave of changes across all of them. Because every time one of those updates or goes through a tick change, it forces a recalculation of all tick changes for all of its neighbors. And so there are vast, huge machines that are designed to age copper at like 5,000 blocks an hour. Like some ridiculous numbers. Like we're cranking out lots of green copper, and I'm like, what is the purpose of this machine? And the only purpose is to make it.
Yep. The only purpose was to see if we could.
But they make those in like creative worlds and everything else, because the amount of redstone that you need to make all that stuff work is just astronomical. And you can get it.
As a redstoner, do you know if they've managed to get Doom to run in Minecraft yet?
We have gotten whole computers running in Minecraft. Like there's actual web browsers for Minecraft now. In Minecraft, you can make it using redstone.
Interesting.
There's a
I
couple
remember
of
seeing some
worlds that
videos where like some people were like, "Hey, we spent the last 20 years and we now have this like graphing calculator that graphs live in Minecraft." And I was like,
oh
"That's insane, but okay. Go
no,
Minecraft."
we from the redstoner community, we have enough. We have gotten so far down into the redstoner communities that we've actually built entire working computers inside of Minecraft with a computer. So basically, we're virtualizing a virtual machine. We have web browsers. They have recently just figured out a new way to encode music on disks within Minecraft to store it so that you can load your entire Spotify list. This is without doing things like changing the code or injecting music files directly in Minecraft. Like they have figured out how to record active music from the net through Redstone and my internal Minecraft stuff, and then playing it back so we can do like Spotify lists and whatnot. It gets a little
insane.
Crazy. So yes, has the Redstone community been busy? Yes. And every time they add a new block in there or something, like it just increases the absolute insanity. But I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, the redstone machine that we make will never be as good as the one that you're sitting on. So why are we doing it? Because we can.
Mm-hmm.
But it serves absolutely no usable purpose, and it's not anything you would ever do in a solo world.
Yeah, I mean, Minecraft is one of those games that really just lets you do what you want. True sandbox.
Well, it's not the only sandbox game out there. Like, I don't know. Valheim is another sandbox. If you like your Viking warriors.
Yeah, it's one I saw somebody play, and I was just like, this is a little too survivally of a sandbox game.
I would say so. Having played both Valheim and Minecraft, I would say that Valheim is the adult version of Minecraft.
Mm-hmm.
So its survival aspects no better or worse than what you get in a Minecraft survival world, right? You still have to eat. You still have to, don't jump off in high places. You'll die. Bad things come out at night and they want to kill you. You chop down trees, you get wood, and then you make houses. Like it's adult Minecraft. The only difference is Valheim doesn't have redstone.
Yeah, fair.
Survival crafters for the win.
I think the last Survivor game that I played was Conan Exiles with like 6 friends.
I've never played Conan Exiles.
I enjoy it. It's like Ark, but in the world of Conan. They've done a lot of patching, so now there's actually a lot more monsters, and you can actually tame things. Yeah, instead of just creating thralls, because that's a big thing in the Conan verse.
Right.
You can actually have pets now, and they've done so much with the game since I've last played that one as well too, that I'm just like, I don't think I need to go back into it because I'll just be out of my depths.
Sucked
But that's
in.
a great that's a great Survivor game if you got a group of friends. Create a clan, build a base, even if it's just your own private world.
Mm-hmm.
Still a lot of fun. There's so much to do in it, but you can go into a PvP world too with your clan, and then it gets really insane.
Yeah, that almost sounds like Rust to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
The only,
it's like Rust without guns.
My only issue with Rust, and probably my biggest issue with Rust, was that your character is predetermined based on whatever your Steam ID is.
I did not know that.
Yep. And so my character is a 40-something-year-old female.
Fair.
I'm like, okay. Thank you for not giving me a choice in that matter.
I don't think I've ever actually played Rust. I've just seen a lot of people play it. So. Ooh. Got a
yes,
big ol' ad from the puzzle game.
Oh. Yeah, if you don't move the screen, that's why you see me occasionally grab a hold of the screen and jiggle it a little bit. If you don't move the screen occasionally, it'll throw you out of the game. So I just keep wiggling it because I don't want to turn it off and give up. Then we could just have a blank spot in the bottom of the screen. I'm like, it's fine. And I don't have any other puzzles, and so throwing up another puzzle just didn't seem to make a lot of sense because we wouldn't get it done anyways, and so it's fine. But so I've done Rust. We had a good time. I played with a couple of guys. It was always funny because I walk around and talking in my voice coming out of a chick. It usually messed people up because they've got their own internal mic system. So it wasn't like we ever did this over a Discord call. So that was interesting. Zoda actually drugged me into some Terraria. I don't know if you've ever played that one before.
No, I've got a couple of friends where I was like, oh my gosh, you need to play Terraria. It's like Minecraft, but better. And then I watch it and I'm like, nah, I'm good. This is a 2D platforming type game. I am so good. I think the only 2D platformers that I've played in recent memory were Castlevania.
So you're not a big 2D platformer? You prefer your 3D and FPSs?
I prefer the 3D to the 2D. There are occasionally some games that come out that are actually good as a 2D platformer. Hollow Knight was pretty darn good.
Yes.
But most 2D platformers, I'm just like, oh, it's a game I've already played but reskinned. I'm fine. I know Terraria's significantly different, but it's another one of those games that, like, nope, I'd have to learn so much just to be able to get through the beginning of this game. I don't want to put more in my brain.
Fair. I was going to say, there's another one, Core Keeper, I've been mucking around with in Xbox Game Pass. It's free, which is, I would say it's Terraria simplified, and it's top down instead of 2D. But still, I guess that makes it a 2D. But I mean,
it makes it roguelike, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, yeah, those are also pretty hit or miss for me. I either really vibe with it and I spend like the next week just spending all my free time in it till I burn out with it, or I'm just like, it's been an hour, I'm okay.
Yeah,
everything's hit and miss for me. I don't know what to say.
No, there's nothing to say. Like, these are, but I mean, that's why we ask the questions, right? We don't know. And if you don't know, you ask the questions to get an answer. I mean, that's kind of the whole purpose of the show. Like, I don't know where your preferences lie at. You know, what drives you to play the video games? Like, what are your things that, you know, if I'm new coming into your channel, what are the things that I can look to expect to see? You know, these are the sort of things that we're just trying to make certain that people understand. Like, hey, I'm coming to check you out because we vibe. And I have a good idea of what I'm coming in to see now because we vibe and click. Hi, Mama Bear. Welcome in.
Yeah, the one thing I get from a lot of my other Twitch friends who shout me out when I pop into their streams is they're like, yep, super cozy gamer, plays a lot of masculine games, very chill vibes. And they're like, and a lot of them are like, you wouldn't expect the games he's playing to give off chill vibes, but he somehow manages to do that.
Okay, but I think that is a testament to the player of the game and less the game. Like, I think you can make any game. I think you can make a horror game chill if you have like zero reaction, if you're just vibing to it and suddenly something just kind of screams and you're like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool, and you gotta keep on trucking with it, like people are gonna be like, wow, he's just like totally making this a chill game. Alien Isolation kind of jumps to mind. You know, people get really panicky over seeing the alien come around, and you're just like, yeah, whatever.
Oh, that's the new one that came out, right? It's kind of like DBD, but with aliens.
Less Dead by Daylight, more like it's kind of a like it's a solo RPG. Like you have a start and end, and you're sneaking around, and the alien's there, and it'll come up and stab you and kill you. Yes, but there are like places for you to hide. If you sneak around, you eventually get like a flamethrower, so you can do a little bit of fighting back, that sort of thing, and you progress your way through a story. So I would call it more. I would probably put it closer to like RE2.
Okay.
Kind of style of gameplay.
Yeah.
Than I would
Dead by Daylight. It, I was like, ooh, that sounds almost like Metal Gear Solid or Dead Space.
Yep, I would put it right in those kind of categories. Yeah, like you don't start out with a weapon, but you can get one eventually, and it's more, you know, sneak around, that sort of thing.
Okay.
But I would also say that for me, having watched people playing it, I require a jump scare to get my blood to raise, right? So it's got to be something that
all I need is a little bit of suspense. Like somebody goes, wait, was somebody over there? And I'm just like, oh, heartbeat just jumped 30 beats per second. I'm just like, okay, we got to find somewhere to hide. And it's like not even a game that it matters if I get detected or not, because I could just kill them and then it doesn't matter. But it's just like, oh shoot, they think they know where I am. I gotta go, or I gotta like flank him and assassinate him so he can't warn everybody.
I've said this before. So I used to run rescue. I've got near 10 years on the back of an ambulance. So I'm used to riding like solid adrenaline highs. Because let's face facts, when you're running around trying to save somebody's life and whatnot, and you've got blood squirting all over the back of your ambulance, or you're trying to deliver a baby or whatnot, you're making life or death decision. You've got a lot of adrenaline running through your veins.
Oh, yes.
So for me, spiking my blood pressures, getting my heart rate to go high requires a really solid hit of something. Like it's got to be startling, jarring. It's just got to really shake me up. So for me, watching Alien Isolation, I'm like, oh, that would be a fun game, whatever. But you know, I can see the alien coming. I know the alien's going to get me, so it's never going to scare me. Even though the screen's going to jump and yell, it's just going to be a really loud noise and whatever. I'm already mentally prepared for it, so no chance of scare.
Yeah, when it comes to video games, I am way more sensitive about what is affecting me than IRL, because I used to be a bit of an adrenaline junkie, skydiving, car racing, supercross, like any sort of action sport I could get my hands on, I would do it. But when it comes to gaming, for whatever reason, anything past a certain point of thriller or suspense, even jump scares, I'm like, okay, why are we pressing the gas here on this? We can come back a little bit. You don't need to stress me out. Meanwhile, I'll jump out of a plane at fucking 25,000 feet and jump after my parachute and go, all right, hope I catch this parachute. If I don't, oh well. But in a game, I was like, oh, they're gonna find me.
So you wouldn't do well in a psychological thriller at all?
Oh, absolutely not. No. Anything that's too psychological horror for me is 100% out. That's probably why, like we discussed earlier, why I couldn't get through Shield Hero is because it was all psychological. They weren't physically harming him. They were just psychologically bullying him and everyone around him to influence their decisions. And I was just like, yep, that's making me want to throw up right now. We're not doing that.
That okay. Well, that's perfectly fair, right? Like again, everybody has their I'm trying to think of what's the word I'm looking for. Everybody has their limits.
Yep.
Limits. Like I don't like horror. I don't like getting scared. But at the same token, too, I realize that some people like watching people get scared and they find it funny, and so I will subject myself to that because I'm okay with doing that. It doesn't bother me. Like, okay, yeah, fine. I scream for a little bit one day and that'll be over. And I probably tend to get myself more worked up in anticipation of the event than I do of the event itself.
100%, yeah.
And so I for me, I think if I can get past the anticipation of the event, then the event itself is fine. I'll scream a little bit. After it's done and over with, I'll go grab a soda or something and sit down and relax and watch an anime or something. And within about 5 minutes, I've like mellowed back out again, and life is good again. And I don't worry about it till the next time.
Yeah, that's not me. The anticipation for me builds so much to the point where I have to stop because it's like physically affecting me. Like, and it only happens with video games or like movies. In real life, I have been in some life or death situations and I have been completely unfazed. But for some reason, video games just get to me.
Interesting. I mean, it's always it's always interesting to see where people have their own personal limits, like what they're willing to do versus what they're unwilling to do. Especially in the context of, well, let's face facts. Like as a streamer, we're content creators, right? So what we're doing is we're building the entertainment for people,
Right.
And so it's interesting to see where certain people are like, okay, this is what I'm willing to do to for people to be entertained by, and then this is the line I've refused to cross because no.
Yeah, I actually struggled a bit after like the initial 120 so friends were like, "Oh, you stream now. I'm gonna go follow you." I struggled quite a bit after that because everybody who came in was like, "Oh, you should play this horror game. You should play this horror game." To the point where I had to put it on my channel in multiple places. I do not play horror games because that's what a lot of people want to see, or is just people get scared.
Right. Yes. Well, I think. Again, I think this is one of those. It depends on the person, right? Not everybody wants to see people getting scared, but there are times where I think some people enjoy watching. There are some people that enjoy watching the fear and then the triumph of accomplishment. When you do the thing that has been terrifying you, because there's a lot of like feel good, there's a lot of extra serotonin release that you get when you're like, yes, that scared the crap out of me, but A, I survived, and B, we triumphed over top of it, and ha. Don't ask me to do that again. I'm not doing it again.
Yeah, I definitely enjoy like the character struggle to triumph, but the jump scares and the suspense don't have to be there. That like man versus psychological doesn't have to be there. I'll do man versus nature, I'll do man versus God, I'll do man versus man, man versus self even.
Right.
But anything that starts to get psychological or like whatever the other one is that has to deal with inner work, as soon as that starts getting start hitting too close to home or getting too suspenseful, I'm just like, all right, we're done.
Fair. Caddy, have yourself a wonderful rest of your evening. Thanks for dropping by. We are actually in wrap up time though. So you got 2 more questions and you have a person to select for your raid.
All right.
3 hours goes quick.
Yeah, it usually does. As I go 6 to 9, three nights out of the week. So
Yeah.
a lot of times I sit here and I go, oh no, I have to raid out. It's already 9:10.
It's already that time. So first question, first of the last 2 questions that you have, right? So we're coming to we're like 2024 is basically over with. I mean, we have a few more months left to this one. But between like the end of this year and say the first half of next year, is there any like major event or anything that you got planning that you're thinking about doing that you'd like to raise awareness for? Like, hey, we're going to do this. It doesn't have to be charity. It could be like I'm doing a 1-year celebration stream or any of that sort of thing. Just
every 100 followers I get, I try to do a dedicated 12-hour stream to community games. We're getting close to 300, so throwing that out there.
nice.
The New Year's Eve into New Year's Day is actually my affiliate anniversary. I hit affiliate exactly 1 month after I started streaming. So,
Nice.
yeah, that's probably not going to actually happen on New Year's because my significant other likes to go celebrate New Year's with their family. So I probably will have to do it on a different day. And then hopefully sometime in the early parts of 2025, I can get my YouTube VOD channel up and get another mod or 2. Because that's really all I've been trying to figure out. Well, I was trying to figure out before OBS decimated itself, and I still have work to do on that. But yeah, I'm starting to look into. I just upgraded storage. I have an additional 4 terabytes in my computer.
Ooh, lots of space for lots of games.
Not so much the games as I like to keep my storage free, just because when your storage starts to fill up, your computer starts to do weird things. But I still have like 15 games on my computer, so it's not a problem. But it's mostly to store VODs till I can edit them and upload them. Just because I have such a fast-paced stream schedule of 4 times a week that
Right.
Once I understand how I want to edit my own videos, I can start uploading them and then just go from there. I may just take like 1 video a week and just learn how to edit it before I start actually dedicating all of the streams to an edit and an upload at a certain time. But yeah, we got a couple extra terabytes to hold on to them because if I go 12 hours like I did this past Sunday,
That's a beefy VOD.
Yeah. And I went through and I did the timestamp things just to try to, start learning a little bit on how to do things.
Right.
And I think out of that 12 hours, if I take out the breaks that I had, I think it's still like 11 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I could take out the raids, but I don't really want to do that. I want to shout out my friends. So it's like, okay, that's still roughly an 11-hour video.
Yeah. What are we going to do? How do you? So yeah, you end up for something like that. You end up having to either splice it up into a series of videos because 11 hours is a lot of content to cover in a game. So that's either I would either chunk that up into smaller pieces, which means that hey, that's great, but you're going to spend more time cutting that up, uploading, and then setting up like a whole schedule for that just to deploy 11 hours worth of videos
Hmm.
that are maybe like 30-minute clips. And then you have to also do all of the, like the setup front and back on the hey, so we're going to do this, and then let prior you on the video recording do all the rest of talking, and then
Yep.
ending each one. So that's his own can of worms.
And that's the thing, though, is like I have noticed when it comes to video game content, particularly, 30 minutes is okay,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of gaming channels will just upload the whole that stream, even if it's like a 24-hour subathon or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
They have the whole big bang and caboodle up there with just, some editing in the middle of it to take out some of the wonky parts or too many swear words because YouTube's special like that.
Yep.
And I'm just like, that is probably what I'm going to do is just upload the big block
That's
because
fair.
it's the VOD, and I don't have the personal time to break it up into 30-minute parts, maybe 2-hour chunks, but even that, I'd probably just make it a 3-hour chunk so that it would be consistent with all my other stream times.
Right. And that makes sense. I mean, that would work as well.
Mm.
Okay. And your last question for the evening. You are so one of the ones we like to ask everybody is you gotta if you were talking to either a younger you who's just getting started in streaming or a newly getting started streamer, it doesn't really matter, whichever makes it easier for you to frame an answer for, what would have been like, oh, if I had just known this when I was getting started, life would have been so much easier. What would have been that one piece of advice if you could give either new streamer or younger you that would have made life easier getting started?
Almost exactly the way I got into streaming. Um, it just kind of worked that way because the community that I fell into is very supportive. Um, but I would tell any new streamer, because I've only been streaming for a year, I would tell any new streamer, just get on Twitch. Get on Twitch, build rapport with a bunch of streamers and their communities, make friends, network, but, keep it friendly. And then once you finally feel like you can pull the trigger, like you know enough about Twitch, you know enough about Discord, you've learned at least a handful of the streamer bots and Discord bots,
Mm-hmm.
pull the trigger. If you want to set up a YouTube beforehand and get all your social medias lined up so they all have the same name, I just got lucky and I was just able to grab all the social medias with my name.
Right.
Um, but that's one thing is like if you plan on it, eventually make the social media now, make the friends and relationships now. All you're going to do is hamstring yourself if you think that you can just come onto a platform and not make friends and grow as a streamer. The first thing you do on Twitch is you jump on a Twitch and you start streaming no friends, no connections. You're going to be like 95% of the streamers out there. You're going to have one, maybe two people in your streams, and it's probably going to be your significant other or your best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to be like, well, why am I not growing? This is what people do. They just get on and play games. It's like, no, you got to do the behind the scenes work. You got to know you got to know the site, you got to make friends, you got to network, you got to reach out to people for collaborations. You can't wait for them to come get you. If you want sponsors, you have to go, hey, this is my platform, this is my content, this is my viewer count. I like your stuff. Could you sponsor me? You have to do the work. You can't just expect it to come to you. There's like one in a million streamers that will happen to because they go
Right.
viral for some other social media thing that they did, whether it's a YouTube short or a TikTok or an Instagram post, whatever. Something went viral that drew people to you. So if you're not even on social media and you're a Twitch streamer, you're hamstringing yourself. Get the fan base, get the friends, get the networking set up, then put your effort into streaming, because that's what it is. It's building a community and a community coming together. So if you just think you're going to play games and grow, you got to do the shadow work.
Yeah, you have to get out there and put in the legwork to meet people. It's a social networking site, and it's a social networking because you have to socially network.
Yeah,
it doesn't change the animal. That's the way that works.
There's a couple of friends that when we started, we somehow found each other on Twitch, and we all had like 25 followers at the same time. You know, we were just baby channels. Like our first week of streaming, we
Right.
literally all started at around the same time. And I never see them in anybody else's channels. I go, hey, who do you watch on Twitch? And they're like, oh, this big streamer that has like 90,000 people in their streams every day. I go, okay, but do you have any friends streaming? And they're like, no, I just watch these really famous people and then I stream. And I'm like, okay, but are they your friends? And they go, well, no, they just stream. I go, yeah, but they collab with their friends all the time. That's how their channels grow. They post things on
Yep.
social media. They do meet and greets. They, you know, they're human beings first. And they go, no, I want to make this my career. I want to play games for a career. I said, then you don't understand what streaming is. I would
No.
like to help you because I'm starting to grow. Like at this point, it was like 2 or 3 weeks. I already had like 100 some followers because all of my friends finally came and followed, and they started to get salty about it. And I was like, dude, please, I want to see you succeed with me. And then I got blocked from like 3 or 4 of their channels because they just didn't want to hear that they were doing it wrong, even though they were actually starting to lose followers now. And one of them has come back and unblocked me and said, dude, you were right. As soon as I blocked you and was no longer getting rated by you, my channel didn't grow a single follower for 3-4 months. And I was like, because you got a network, buddy.
You got to get out there. You got to talk to the people. I mean, that's kind of the way this works. But, Dewey, it has been an absolute phenomenal night. Thank you for taking time out to come and hang with us. I hope you have your target picked out for the raid.
I do. I do.
Oh, good. You can just slap that up in the chat so I can just copy and paste it. For everybody else, I just hit, there should be a little heart that showed up on the top of your screen. If it's not lit up, you're doing it wrong. Dewey Blue Eyes has taken time out to come and hang with us. Fantastic individual, fantastic streamer. We've had such a lovely time. It's been wonderful to have you on the stream with us tonight. And we want you to have nothing but lots and lots of success in your moving forward. We'll also do this one because we do 2 sets of shout outs. So I like to do the normal Twitch one, which makes it easier for people to follow you because all they have to do is hit the little heart and it lights up and, you know, insta follower. Yay. And then we like to do the other one, which puts the little video up over in the corner that's going to paste over top of me. Oh, look, it's one of your Minecraft videos. It was fantastic. Just give people an impression of some of the things that they can expect to see if they go catch one of your streams. And by all means, you guys should be getting over there and go catch some of his streams. Drop that follow. Go hang out. Go enjoy an absolutely phenomenal streamer and a really good time. And again, thank you, Dewey.
And another thing, I actually use my Twitch schedule. So you can actually look at my weekly schedule from my Twitch page. You don't even have to join any other social media platform to see it.
Nice.
I know, it's so underutilized.
I would say I use my schedule, but I used to use my schedule. I don't use it anymore. And that's because my schedule has been going through a bit of a changing, an awful lot of changing, but you know, that happens. All right.
Yep.
So we are going to go raid Kozen. All right.
Cozy Hen, yep.
Nice. Cozy Hen. Fantastic.
They are currently playing Duck Detective: The Secret Salami.
Ooh. All right. Well, what I'm going to do is I am going to deafen. If you will give me like 2 seconds to change over to the end screen, you're welcome to hang up the call after that point.
Sounds good.
And, you know, get ready for the raid with everybody else. It has been an absolute pleasure, Dewey. I look forward to continuing to interact and discuss with you and talk with you. Maybe we'll get together, do some collab stuff if you're open for that in the future. All right. Again, thank you immensely for your time tonight. It's been an absolute treat to get to know you, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
All right. And that's that. And we are out for the evening, but don't go anywhere. Absolutely not. Hey, guess what? I actually have a raid message for Talk Tuesday. Ha! Surprise, surprise, right? But we're going to go say hi to Cozy Hen. We're going to go tell them all about Dewey Blue Eyes, Talk Tuesday, and the fun times that we've had tonight. I hope you guys continue to be fantastic and amazing. Thank you all for coming out and hanging out and taking some time to learn about Dewey Blue Eyes. They have been a phenomenal streamer. They've been a phenomenal guest, and we've had a phenomenally fantastic time. So here are, let's do this first, right? Let me put that there so I don't lose that. All right. So here's raid message. We're not going to do anything fancy with like separated between followers and subscribers, so it doesn't matter. So here's the raid message that we're going to be using. So grab that, copy that. That's what we're going to use when we get over there. Perfect. And we're going to go say hi to Cozy Hen. Cozy Hen. So there we go. Raid's up. We're heading that way. Again, thank you all for coming by, hanging out, and we look forward to seeing you all again next time. We will be, this Friday is going to be 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time when we get started this Friday, because remember, we're doing a radio show this Friday, so it's going to be music, it's going to be a lot of me, it's going to be a lot of Kino, it's going to be a lot of a really good time, so you don't want to miss out on that. And then we'll be back for our Storied Saturdays on Saturday. And then I think, yes, we have the BG3 group once more this weekend on Sunday, so don't want to miss out on any of that fantasticness. So until next time, continue to be the fantastic, fabulous, and amazing people that I already know you are. And until next time, well, you know how this goes. Bye for now.